we go, ladies and gentlemen. We should be live. Had a minor issue with the stream key, but it looks like we are here now. So, we got some more people coming in just a moment, but for now, you're gonna have to deal with me and Azaraki. Not that that's a bad thing. Hi, Azza.
You started that off where it made it sound a little bit like a bad thing. I was like, wait,
It's,
people are stuck with me.
yeah,
Okay,
people are
that's
totally stuck with you right now. I don't have any other words for you besides that. You want to go into some high elo games, or do you want to try and laugh at somebody?
we could do a little of both. Just space things out over the night. It is night for some people.
That would be correct. And I probably shouldn't play this radio station considering, despite it being classical, there are a number of copyrighted songs. So we're going to go ahead and pause that and not do that to avoid any issues. Oh man, in the meantime, I guess we'll start with actually let me go ahead and get in the chat if you guys want to go ahead and tell us what you want to see. I'm not actually in the chat, I think Az is in the chat right now. We'll go ahead and start off with that for game analysis night because I love you guys.
I, uh, okay, so I had a little bit of classical music stuck in my head while you were saying that, so
Did you
I
just
heard my
completely,
name though.
did you you spaced out. You
Yeah,
spaced out, don't lie.
with classical music.
With classical
Bizet.
music.
Danse Bohème.
Uh, I I don't have any words for you right now. No, I don't.
Alright, so what is it you want me to do?
I wanted to know what you wanted to start with. High elo game or low elo game?
And you asked the chat?
Yeah, but they're not giving good answers, so.
Yeah, we have one vote for Wood League.
Wood League? Alright, we'll go with Wood League. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here. Let's see here. Silver Division 5. Oh, here we go. Bronze Division 1, but been in the game for 19 minutes, so. Gold
Man,
Division
I
5.
probably shouldn't say this.
Bronze Division 3, but 24 minutes. Gold Division 1, Silver Division 2, Silver 5. Ooh, we got a
Avi's in
poppy
chat.
game.
Avi's in chat. He said, a low elo, mine in specific. I'm queuing now.
Oh my god. AV's so bad. That's right, I said it.
Okay.
So what do you want to do? You want to watch this poopy game? And then we'll go and watch AV?
You go ahead and decide. It's up to you. I'm not
Alright,
too particular.
Let's see if we have anybody else. I know AV's in queue, but I kind of want to get into stuff like right now. So we can watch him after this game and laugh at him. Silver Division 1.
All of my actual friends are
Gold
good at
Division
League.
5. Ouch. Well, everybody adds me because of the, the stuffy stuff. Bronze Division 2. Playing as 5 for 17 minutes. Not quite. We might be stuck with a poopy game for now.
Alright.
Not a problem. Everybody here is like diamonds and stuff like that. So Gold Division 3. Now where was our poppy game? Twisted Fate for 11 minutes. Too bad you're platinum. Bronze Division 4. There's the 30.
That's the first time I think someone would ever say that. Too bad you're platinum.
Yeah, too bad you're platinum. It was a good try though. It's a good try.
Asian dad. Why not challenger?
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna be watching some real high level play here, guys.
I have to say the little chuckle right there completely sold it. 10 out of 10 on the liar scale.
Yeah, exactly. So as you can see, no borders all around for this game except for the Morgana. Silver border. So
although at the same time it is Ghost Bride Morgana. Sorry.
Ghostblade.
Ghostblade.
Yeah.
There is a blade well, that's Oriana.
I was gonna say, well, there are some of her skins that are rather spiky, so I guess that counts.
I'm trying to think of the name.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
It has Blade in it, I think.
It's not. Is it Fallen Angel Morgana?
No, that one
that's
is
a red
where
and white
wings
one.
are white.
Yeah, and then there's the Baker Morgana. I can't remember for the life of me.
Baker's Sinful Succulents. There's like Sinister, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the volume up. Let's go ahead and
think of something while we get into game, because I'm still loading.
Oh, you're still loading. Well, that's okay. Let's go ahead and give a rundown of the game. It's 3 minutes into the game. We've had no kills so far, but we might see first blood coming out here, and oh my god, this flash. And there we go. First blood for Janna coming out. A nice exhaust there, actually, and then the double kill going down in bot lane, but not really a double kill. I know what I'm talking about in casting. No, not Blackthorn.
Are we okay to make fun of people?
Yes, you're fine to make fun of people. I really don't care.
I'm not Caitlyn just completely underestimated the amount of power she had right there. Just, even if she did secure the kill, there was no way she was getting out of that alive. That's something that... Oh, wow, that's a really good Morgana skin.
Yeah. It actually is good. It does have its own custom graphics, too, which is really surprising because, you know, they upped the price on Blackthorn Morgana, even though their reasoning behind it was that it had the custom graphics. Is it a poopy jungle or a Teemo jungle? Okay, that's a poopy jungle.
Yeah, yes, definitely. So that means Teemo top, okay. I don't really like Teemo, personally. That's just me, but at the same time, Trundle against Teemo, it's actually not the greatest matchup for Trundle. You know, Teemo, he doesn't use attack damage, and he's also not very tanky. Those are the two basic things that Trundle steals from people. And on top of that, Teemo also has the blind, where Trundle's very reliant on auto attack. So I think Trundle's going to have a fairly good time in this matchup, provided he's a good player. But then again, what is this, a bronze something game?
Yeah,
so
this is a bronze game.
I don't know if I'm expecting much. He's 7 CS right now.
Oh dear god, are you kidding me? It is 4 minutes into the game and Teemo's managed to pull off a miraculous 9 CS at this point. Oh my goodness, you've got to be kidding me. Meanwhile, is that right? That can't be right. There's no way that's right. Nami is level 2. She just turned level 2. She was level 1 before, so good job on her picking up the slack for that. In the meantime,
yeah, I think she's worried a little bit too much about the ward wars.
She's not in range for experience right now. You can really see that bleeding through as Janna has 2 levels on her. Meanwhile, Teemo getting out of that alive, but so far that Trundle tripling his CS.
Yeah, you know, I said that Teemo's gonna have a pretty good matchup, but I don't know. I'm not sure if this Teemo is going to be doing it correctly, but as we saw, Nami was once again not in lane at all in the first place, which as a support is generally not something you want to do. Basically, Caitlyn's been zoned for the longest time, and for some reasons she's still ahead in CS of Quinn.
Yeah, again, Nami zoning herself out from experience. You can see the huge impact here. Nami's already a squishy champion. She's got some decent armor scaling as far as supports go, but it can't really make up for her lack of health scaling when it comes to leveling. More so the fact that she's, again, under-leveled makes it even worse for her right now, and she just doesn't have the ability to really keep up in that lane.
The moment she has taken Aqua Prison and Ebb and Flow, so she's missing out on the Ty Carlos Blessing, you know, not too much that's going to hinder her in terms of survivability for her or Caitlyn, but it's definitely going to hurt them if they try to go for a kill. But at this point, I'm not sure if they're really in the position to go for a kill. But in the mid lane, Hecarim is going to go ahead and gank. We see him trying to position himself behind Morgana and then charging forward, but a good flash, you know, that was actually a fairly solid play.
It was a really good play. I feel like Morgana misplayed this a little bit, though. If she had had a quicker reaction for the Black Shield, she would have gotten out of there without a problem.
She had Black Shield up?
Yeah, she popped it way too late. Like, she popped it when she was already under tower. But it could have negated that charge, essentially.
Yeah, it definitely could have. Not getting displaced is definitely strong, and he is level 5, so... not sure why she saved it until afterwards. You know, she wasn't dodging the ultimate or anything like that. But going back to looking at it, you know, she has a alright CS. You know, 42. That's pretty good at this moment in the game. We'll have to see how she keeps up with the rest of that. TF going to ult in for it, and, you know, gold card right into the Black Shield. Morgana probably doesn't realize she's out of mana. And there goes the miss on those cards, and he's not going to secure the kill.
No, unfortunately not close enough for that gold card, and his flash is down. He already burned all of his summoner spells there, so she doesn't really have You know, he didn't really have any kill potential after that point. Morgana just getting out by the skin of her nose, though. She's going to have to be really careful when she gets back into that lane. I was really confused by the TF ultimate. I thought he was going to go ahead and go down bot to try and pick up on this Nami here some more, but that just didn't happen.
One interesting point of note that I can actually analyze is the fact that TF, actually went for pick a card. He's maxing pick a card first, which, especially in this lane matchup, is not something you really want to be doing, because at this point, you know, wild cards...
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Wild cards is his basic ranged harass. You know, it's got such a short cooldown, it's got such a long range, and it also does a ton of damage. It also helps you poke out the lane, can hit every minion in a wave if you want, and on top of that, it completely outranges Morgana. You know, it's one of the longest range skill shots in the game. And, yep, that Ignite's going to be able to take him down, so he's just staying in lane a little bit too long, and at the same time, what he should be doing, he should be maxing his Q, staying back and poking out a bit more, because if he gets close to Morgana, it makes it easier for her to land skill shots. It makes basically he's in range of her ultimate, and that's something you never want against a Morgana.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things that we're seeing here, though, despite that fact that he's not leveling that first, he's actually ahead of Morgana in CS, which is not something you want to see. Morgana is one of these champions where she pushes out her lane really hard, and then she goes and ganks. And oh my god, Nami landed a stun, but a nice Janna tornado is going to completely disengage that. Jhin is having a lot of decent plays here, as well as Quinn. She knows how to use her spells to go ahead and get that proc for that instantaneous crit, which is really nice. But let's have a look at the top lane really quick. Teemo only has boots right now, and he's 20 CS behind Trundle, who has a frozen hammer thingy majigger. That is Phage, yeah. I was thinking of Frozen Mallet, and then I failed.
It's okay, Phage turns into Frozen Mallet.
Exactly, that was why I said it. Oh,
Alright,
man.
so I'm not actually sure what happened in this top lane. I'm actually going to just keep watching this for a little bit just to see how Teemo is actually losing this lane. Because I'm not sure if he should be. You know, he's ranged. Trundle, everything about Trundle is melee. He's got an escape on Move Quick. It's such a great escape. He's got a blind. There should theoretically be no way he's losing this lane. But it looks like... I don't even know what happened right there.
Yeah, it looks like Trundle came in with the Ignite, and that was pretty much the end of
Pretty
it
much
there.
it.
Yeah, he's like, nah, you know what, I'm cool just going back to CSing. It doesn't look like Morgana, or rather Twisted Fate, is really able to poke out Morgana. She's having a few better spell shields here. She's going ahead and dodging all of those gold cards right now. Just no problem whatsoever for her.
So it looks like Teemo is completely scared to auto-attack Harass, which is one of the greatest strengths of Teemo because he can stack that poison, do a lot of damage, and his blind is also in auto-attack range. So that should really be playing to his advantage, and there's nothing Trundle can do about it. He has no real gap closers. He can slow you down, he can speed himself up.
And here
He's
goes
not
Morgana.
really a gap closer.
Yeah, Morgana just gonna go ahead and take the kill here. Really no problem taking out Twisted Fate. You know, she's really got the poke on him at this point, which is kind of sad given everything that's going on. And down in that bot lane, Quinn just not having the reaction speed at that point to go ahead and block that ulti for Janna. I feel like she could have gotten in there and saved her, but just didn't have the, quite frankly, the skill to do so. Granted, very basic skill, but skill nonetheless.
Everything you can do is technically a skill of some sort.
Fair enough.
There's some dexterity involved in moving your mouse over a little bit and then clicking. Or, as you're saying, reaction time, that is pretty important as well. So Nami is sitting at 0-3 right now, building for a Philosopher's Stone first, so that's not too radical. Most of the time we do see Sightstone first, and that's going to give her a little bit of tankiness, but I think she might be sticking to the old ways of Season 2, which in this case probably is not the best idea as well, because Nami is a very squishy champion. She should be building a little bit more health, and, you know, at this point I'm not sure why she went for the 2 fairy charms. Maybe building towards a chalice, but at the same time, you know, you have no health.
That's
You're not really
exactly
gonna be able
what
to
she's
survive.
building towards. And you know why that's exactly how I know that's what she's building towards? Because that's what I build on Nami.
I'm sure you build Sightstone first, though.
No, I build Chalice first. I rush Chalice on Nami. I don't go for Philostone, but I rush Chalice. And I have some mana regen runes as well as masteries. It allows you to poke consistently in the early game, but it doesn't actually look like that's what she's doing right now. So that's kind of a problem for her. She'd be able to spam a lot more, but she doesn't have that survivability right now.
Do
And
you get it do you get Sidestone after challenge?
yes, yeah,
Yeah,
I get
there
it
you go.
right
So-
after it. And not exactly sure what Caitlyn was doing here. Not sure why
Standing
Hecarim...
behind the tower.
Speaking of Hecarim deciding to flash there, why did Hecarim pick up Flash as opposed to Ghost? Ghost is a much better spell when it comes to Hecarim right now, mostly because of the fact that his passive will help his damage all in all, as opposed to Flash, which is just a minor escape. That coupled with his charge is going to give him a lot of mobility, both getting in and out of fights. And yeah, Caitlyn might have been typing there, but the wrong time to type. Meanwhile, Teemo is getting crushed in this top lane.
Oh, he disconnected. I was
But
wondering
he's
why
still
he was just
flashing.
standing.
What the hell? I wonder if those two are duo and lost the internet connection at their place. That'd be interesting. Or somebody's getting DDoS. That's what Caitlyn was doing. Caitlyn was tapping out to DDoS. I'm putting it out there. It's a possibility. Now, what Caitlyn is trying to do and failing at doing is she's trying to put these traps in front of Quinn so she can go ahead and get her snared for an easy Piltover, but it's not working. Oh my god, those crits are devastating. Unfortunately, though, Quinn not deciding to move is gonna have a few problems there. And she's going to manage to get out alive, but I really feel like she could have picked up one, if not two kills, if she had gone ahead and decided to essentially dodge that Q. Qs are so obvious coming out from Nami. The problem is that she didn't move. Nami didn't predict it. She didn't move. She didn't place her Q where she thought Quinn was going to go. She just placed it right on top of her.
Yeah, it's not a very instant cast spell, and you know, in the meantime, Twisted Fate did teleport top and managed to perform an ability and kill Teemo.
An ability. Yeah, he did manage to perform, I'd say half decently. It looks like Teemo is kind of going, that's the new malady, right? I have no idea what they managed to change that item to.
What is the what?
The Stinger, it's the new malady, right? Or is it the new Nashor's Tooth?
Stinger builds into Nashor's Tooth.
There we go. It's the new Nashor's Tooth. They went ahead and took Malady out of the game. Essentially, wow, Twisted Fate. There you go. Oh, the flash red card. Okay, I'm sorry. I can help myself. Yeah, they went ahead and took Malady out of the game and essentially transferred some of its buff over to Nashor's Tooth, which is becoming more standard to build on Teemo. He's becoming a little more favored, kind of not as favored as when AP Teemo kind of came to light and then everybody wanted to build AP Teemo for the longest time. So not quite that popular, but still fairly popular. I still love AP Teemo though.
Yeah, and going back to the bot lane, you know, in theory, Caitlyn, Nami should have been winning this lane. They have superior poke, and Caitlyn is really one of those early game devastators, as we know, but she just really was hurt by the fact that Nami was never actually able to be in a fight. Looks like in the mid lane, Janna trying to 1v1 Morgana or something like that, and
I don't think she needed
flash?
to flash there. I really don't.
Flash? Auto attack? Probably would have been a better idea.
Exactly. She had the damage to burn through her. She didn't really have a lot of health left. The Ignite was already on her for quite some time still. I do like the fact that the red team is essentially trying to compensate for the fact that they had two people DC at the same time. So they went ahead and sent mid lane top simply because mid doesn't really have the ability to deal with Morgana. But at the same time, Teemo is not in a good position, so it won't allow Teemo to free farm, and it will allow TF to kind of get a leg up here. So it's not a bad idea overall. You can just see he's chunking lots of Teemo's health all at once. They sent Janna to mid. Obviously, Janna, very defensive, but if she gets caught out like that in Morgana, it's just not going to work.
It's a little bit on Janna not to get caught out in the first place as well. As Janna, you can really just sit back, you know, tornado things as they come along. Although at the same time, she's also mistiming a lot of her tornadoes and like using them to not secure C. She's messing up her auto attack CS as well. So you know she's not really doing too well right here. And right there we see she's moving into Zephyr. That's something that as an AP mid Janna don't really want to do too often. You want to make sure that you're safe when you move into Zephyr, and that would be a time where, you know, Morgana just missed a binding, and then you move into Zephyr. But at this point, she should have just retreated that entire time.
Yeah, and we're... Oh, no, we're not going to see the kill, but it looks like TF TF, come on, man, come on. Come
You
on.
think after 5 or so failed gold cards he would realize what that shield
Aw,
does?
come on. I would really love to see them win this 3v5, but I don't think it's going to happen. You know, Janna clearing out mid would be a lot better in theory, but she's not leveling her Tornado first. She needs to be shielding that turret and letting Morgana push up, and then using Tornado to go ahead and disrupt Morgana, as well as clearing that wave. But that's not happening. Oh, and I wonder if we're going to see Trundle reconnect at the same time, too, to confirm our suspicions about them being on the same connection. I'm really curious. That was so unfortunate of them.
How long is the window between at the same time? Because right now it's getting a little bit long.
Yeah, doesn't look like they were on the same connection, but it looks like a very unfortunate circumstance to have both players just fall at once. It's really given the blue team a chance to catch up. You can see they're actually a bit ahead in gold, and they can't really do much in terms of the red team to go ahead and fend off this push. Poopy just coming in here, going ahead and abusing this TF. He's very squishy, he's not able to do much. Hecarim, oh my god, I'm doing play-by-play. What the hell is wrong with me? But you see they can get the turret there, they have the power to do it, and I'm not really sure that they're going to have an opportunity to come back unless something like this happens, where you get all the shutdown bonuses, and Quinn is playing quite well. For all that is happening, she's playing quite well. We've actually managed to come out on top in terms of kills for that fight. I'm quite surprised. So what happened there, Azza?
Alright, well first of all I'm going to give a little bit of credit to the blue team. A lot of teams have huge trouble closing games out, and you know, they saw that they had an advantage, however ill-begotten it was, and then they just pushed through it. And that's really what you want to do with an advantage. You basically want to force objectives. You want to be able to close out the game, and most of the time when people do get a huge advantage, you know, they delay laning phase. They say, oh, I'm winning laning phase, I'll just win more now. But you really want to try to make action happen all around the map. Use the mid game to your advantage. Use the low timers to make sure that you can get some pushing down. Now where that fight went wrong was basically the fact that they overstayed a little bit. You know, they saw Hecarim on their way, but they sort of fought him. A couple of them backed off, a couple of them fought him. Not communicated. You know, if they all fought him, bursted him down, and then quickly retreated afterwards, then, you know, that probably would have went better for them. Or if they all retreated right after they took that tower, it would have went better for them. But at the same time, you know, some of them overstayed, and that's really something that a lot of teams do incorrectly as well.
Yeah, we might have seen a little bit of greed there with these guys, you know, thinking that they were so far behind, they caught up in kills, so surely they can win a team fight, but all in all, Quinn is
Red
doing...
is still ahead in gold.
Yeah, Quinn is doing quite well for herself. She's got 120 farm. I'm sorry, I had a hiccup there. Please excuse me. God damn it, I'm gonna shut up for a second and let you take this over until this is done.
Alright, so we see Hecarim, you know, he has figured out the fact that he is a very tanky champion, so he can just sort of stick in the middle of a fight and still survive. And now the blue team, you know, their focus is on Hecarim, so even though he's died, he's basically done his job getting the attention from the rest of the blue team over to himself, so that the rest of his own team could pick up some of the rest of these kills. And we saw, you know, Quinn was able to do a little bit. We have Twisted Fate teleporting in to finish up the fight as well. You know, positioning could have certainly been better in that fight, but the overall idea from Hecarim was very good, and I hope that he doesn't think, well, I died, that sucked. Because it was really a pretty good play.
Yeah, TF did pretty well there getting that port in. I feel like Caitlyn should have just split off. You know, Janna isn't the biggest threat to her health, but the biggest thing there, and I'm going to attribute this more to luck than skill simply because of the league we are in, was he got that wild card that, you know, just she kind of ran into. And wasn't able to dodge. It managed to snipe the rest of her health. A good play by Janna after that, though, going ahead and controlling the Nami so she couldn't pick up the very low TF and then allowing him to get the double.
Yeah, now we see both teams. They're just going to go ahead, take their lanes, and it looks like blue team, they're going to be starting to push mid lane while Poppy pushes top. You know, split pushing is still fairly strong right now. Unfortunately, Poppy does want that tower really badly. She's going to be able to take it, going to die herself, but you know, I think it might be worth it. Although she's turning back on the fight. You know what she could have done there? Ult Janna and then just run away. Just use that entire ultimate to run away, and at this point she's basically dead because, I don't know, I think she thought she could fight Hecarim, but wow. That Caitlyn actually did a lot of damage with her ultimate. I'm not sure where all that damage came from. I don't think Hecarim has any armor. No, he does not. No armor on Hecarim. So he's sitting at 60 right now, so he took the full force of that Caitlyn ultimate. And I guess Janna just tried to stay up there, but didn't quite work out for her.
Yeah, Teemo actually gets a double kill off that top lane mushroom and then comes back in with this next one. It's difficult for the blue team right now. They may be even able to close out the game here. The problem is that Trundle wasn't able to come back. I feel like if he came back, he would have had the red team would have had a much better time. But 4v5 is so difficult to deal with just because of the split push potential that these guys have got going on. And in reality, with the Teemo Shrooms, it makes it even more difficult simply because the rest of the team, even if they manage to go for that split push, they have a way to get some extra damage in there. Just really difficult for the red team to kind of respond to. And man, that freaking Teemo getting all the kills. And I don't know why Janna keeps trying to 1v1. She's got a Seeker's Arm Guard right now, but that's the only thing that's going to give her AP. That is the only thing she's got. She can't 1v1 a Caitlyn at this point. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, even though she has been building AP recently, she has the Seeker's Arm Guard, as you said. She still can't 1v1 a Caitlyn, who's got quite a bit of health. And now Sparky is on Quinn and able to do quite a bit of damage, and I think people don't quite know her kit very well. But at the same time, Morgana can actually turn around on this and pick up the kill. Quinn standing in the tormented soil for a little bit too long, and now Morgana herself has overstayed her welcome. And Protoss Lord is gonna try as hard as he can to get through here, but Teemo has showed up. Okay, that was a good ultimate, and as well as a followed up Black Shield by Morgana, and they're gonna be able to turn this kill around. Wow, that was... I'm seeing so many instances where both teams just chase way too far and overstay their welcome, just end up getting killed afterwards anyway. You know, the longer you stay in a fight, the lower your health gets throughout the fight, the lower mana you get, the higher your cooldowns get. You know, like, you use your ultimate, you don't have it up for the rest of the fight, and makes it that much easier for the enemy team to turn on you and kill you.
Yeah, I feel like what they need to be doing right now, you know, these objectives are going to fall one way or another, whether it is split pushing or, you know, just flat out sieging the base. They're going to go down one way or another. I feel like the best thing for them to do right now would be to play defensively and either, one, wait for Trundle to get back, or use their towers to their advantage to get that extra damage in there so they can compensate for not having a fifth player, because the blue team has gotten very overzealous in wanting to take a lot of the in-base objectives. I feel like it would probably be more beneficial to them. They'll manage to get the kills, and as the game goes on and those res timers get longer, it'll finally give them the ability to go ahead and push out. Really, Hecarim? Really?
Yes, he just ulted for a Nami, and, you know, Nami is winning this fight.
Nami has Leandries! Oh my god! This league!
Alright, so in the top lane, Quinn gets caught out fairly quickly, Master Jessie trying her best to do as much damage as she can, and Twisted Fate actually flashing in for the kill. He's going to be able to get it. There's a pretty good gold card pickup right there, able to follow up with wild cards and secure the kill. You know, and...
Oh my god, what is with this league? Hecarim's gonna try and 1v1 Nami again, and that Leandries is gonna come in so much handy, but I don't think she's gonna manage to win this one.
And now it's Poppy's turn to try, and now Poppy's going to end up killing Hecarim. Hecarim is building a little bit too much damage and not enough. Oh my god, the wards! What the hell?
What the fuck? Janna just sold everything to get 1 billion wards. Oh my god, this game. I feel bad for red team, but at the same time, it's bronze, so there's only so much sympathy I can have for things like Leandry's Chalice, and cooldown reduction boots for Nami. Oh my god, and still with the gold cards on the spell shield, man. You think they would learn eventually not to do that.
Walks
Eventually.
into a Teemo shroom as well. Alright, so I think the red team, they had a chance to come back into the game, you know? Even though they're down a player, like we said, this is Bronze League, so if they would have grouped together, if they would have started fighting team fights, pushing down objectives as a 5, you know, they might have been able to make things happening with their positioning, because as we saw, you know, Quinn's actually not doing too badly with her positioning now, and we also have Janna, you know, she can make a play happen every now and again, and
Oh man.
even
Why did he
Hecarim
do
is
that?
just standing in the middle of fights and tanking, so
Yeah.
there isn't...
Oh my
they
god,
could
Trundle's
win
back.
some of these fights.
Oh
Is-
my god, Trundle's back.
Oh, when did he get back? Wow.
I have no idea. Anyways, Hecarim, I love his ability to 1v1 at 80 carries. It's so nice. And I think Janna is really gonna regret selling all of her items specifically to go ahead and ward her base so she had vision on everything.
No, whoa, whoa. She's moving out into her jungle now, so...
Oh goody! She's gonna
Just
have
sight
vision
all
all.
around her jungle
I feel
spell.
like with the wards she got, she literally could have had vision across the map, but she chose to ward her own nexus. Oh my god!
There would be not an inch of her own base covered with wards.
Exactly.
Wha-
But I feel like one of the things Quinn is doing wrong here is, as we get back into this game, granted it didn't happen this time, Quinn, you know, when she uses that gap closer essentially to get in closer, her Q, the problem that comes with it is she gets so close to Morgana, it's a point blank binding. Morg isn't going to miss that.
Hopefully.
No, she's not going to miss that. Come on, I know it's Bronze League, but please tell me we can do a little bit better than that. Oh man.
We'll see. I don't know if there's going to be a binding here. Okay, so she landed a binding on a non-moving target. That's a good sign.
Exactly, and Teemo managed to pick up that kill, which is nice, but with Trundle coming back in here, the things that come from it is, yes, he's gonna be further behind, but his ultimate is gonna give him that tanky advantage that he really needs to kind of at least do something in these fights.
Oh yeah, Trundle is actually the tankiest person of the red team, and I'm not sure why Hecarim has just opted out of tank, started building for damage. You know, he's got a Phage,
Yeah,
which
I
is a
don't
little bit
know.
of tankiness, but he's also got a Zeal, so I think he's in the
See,
mode of...
that's what I'm talking about.
I need more attack speed. I really
Yeah.
need more attack speed. Movement speed. That gives me more attack damage. I can win. But he really needs to be the tank for his team, and I really like how Trundle is building an Aegis. So he actually realizes, all right, Hecarim's not going to tank. It looks like it's up to me. So he's actually got a pretty good, you know, item set for tankiness. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to farm out as much as he could have because he disconnected.
Yeah, and that is kind of a problem for him. Luckily, though, it looks like they've got some good focus in this fight. Even though Poppy knocked them back, they knew they had to get in on that Caitlyn. They knew they didn't have a choice there. Poppy made a great choice by ulting Trundle simply because of how far behind he was. So she didn't really have to deal with the Hecarim damage coming out, which was an excellent play on her part. And I use the term excellent as loosely as I possibly can.
And it looks like the wards from Janna have began to wear out. She is so extremely squishy right now. I think
She's
you know,
got
that
no
thing you
items
said
still.
earlier
Come
might-
on. Come
like
on.
she might be regretting selling all
talk.
of her wards,
Yeah.
or selling all of her items to get wards. You know, if she would have sold all of her items to get wards and then in turn sold the wards, I think that would have been even worse. But
Yeah, that's quite a bit of a reduction there. You can see, again, it just... Coming in so close with that Q is really dangerous, and the problem is she knows they were there, her minions gave her vision of that, and she still decided to go in on it. And Teemo's to the point where he's got a lot of damage coming out, but he's mostly good for kill stealing at this point because of the attack speed he has. I don't know. I think the blue team came too far ahead, and I don't know if they're going to be able to come back simply because of this Janna. They really need her there. They need her in these fights to go ahead and do something, but right now, she's not living to do anything.
and no one's really living to do anything right there. We have a lot of kills on both sides of the board, and I have to say, I'm not sure if it was intentional or unintentional, but that was a good Zonias by Morgana. She Zonias'd Janna's ultimate,
Oh.
and that would have zoned her out away from the rest of the red team. So that would basically make sure that no one was stunned at all. Now it might it did happen as soon as she used her ultimate, so she could have been like, all right, I'm ulting, I'm going to Zhonya's right afterwards, no matter whether these guys are going to focus me or not. But it could have also been in prevention of the Janna ultimate, which was pretty much inevitable at that point. So I don't know if that was just a luck thing or if she actually predicted the Janna ult there.
Wood League plays right here. Look at this Janna. Aw, yeah. Wait a second. Wait a second. Janna has clarity. Why does Janna have clarity? Can you shed some light on us for that, Asaraki?
You see, in this case, clarity doubles as an escape for her. You see, she replaced Flash, so the clarity is going to help her survive some engagements. You know, that time where she's completely out of mana and needs mana in order to ult, she can just pop clarity and ult and then get away, and it's so much more reliable than Flash.
But
you can definitely see why.
You saw that, right?
You
saw that,
yes,
right?
I did.
Oh my god. So in case anybody missed that here, and I certainly hope you didn't, TF flashed into a 2v2 with pretty much a full health Nami and a full health Morgana. It was the ability to deaden pretty much all of his damage, and he thought this was a terrific idea, that or he has got to have the fattest fingers of anybody in League of Legends, because that was probably the worst move he could have made there, aside from running into the tower, which even then wouldn't have put on that cooldown for him.
Oh yeah, his Flash is now on cooldown, isn't it?
Yeah?
My god, okay, so everyone's getting caught out as well. You know, a lot of people say, you know, I just can't carry out a bronze elo, but at the same time, there are so many mistakes to be capitalized on here, so long as you yourself is not making a mistake, and we're seeing a lot of that. Like, Trundle right there, there's no vision out for either team, actually, right now. Absolutely. Janna, where are your wards?
Yeah, you sold...
There's no vision
She's
for
got
either
Amp
team.
Tome.
So...
Ladies and gentlemen, Wood League. Oh my god.
Okay. Okay, so
I realize
Protoss
why we
Lord,
don't
he's...
cast this. It's too hard not to laugh at these people. I'm sorry. It's just... It's too difficult. I was surprised
Okay,
Janna
if
didn't get one
if it
shot
was
by that.
indeed like a tournament or something, then I could be,
Oh my
you know,
God.
casting this. I could potentially say, alright, so Poppy has gone for the Blessing of the Elder Lizard. That's gonna give her a little bit more damage, but she really likes cooldown reduction, so I can see why she likes that item, and she's also been jungling, so it builds out of the Hunter's Machete, so I can see why she picked that up. Pretty good build on her, although I'm not really an expert
Oh my god,
on
Minions got TF.
Poppy. Yes, they did.
I'm just gonna point this out. Nami killed Twisted Fate. The support
In a 1v1.
killed the mid. Yeah, in a 1v1. And she's got no farm
Yeah, I bet
either.
you wish you had your flash, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. I don't think I could cast a tournament like this, seriously. I think we would get in, and I want to do a bronze level tournament just for that reason. I think we would get in and we would spend the entire time laughing as we try and cast the damn thing. I really don't think much casting would be getting done, as well as lots of shenanigans and laughing at the players. On the bright side, Jen has finally managed to build boots at 35 minutes into the game, as well as an Amp Tome on the board, so she's managed to at least do something.
Alright, so Hecarim, I figured out what he was building. He was building for Triforce, which, in all reality, isn't actually a bad item on Hecarim. The harm here comes in the fact that he built that before he had any tankiness whatsoever. He has a Spirit Visage, so a little bit of magic resist, a little bit of health, but he doesn't have any armor at all. Let's see, he's still at 84 armor. That's less than 100, and has a tank 36 minutes into the game. That's not a good stat to have. So he really should have been building maybe even a Sunfire Cape. You know, there are a lot of things that Hecarim could have easily gone for other than the Trinity Force. And it doesn't really matter if he's lacking all that much damage, because if he soaks up enough damage from the enemy team, then his own carries, like Twisted Fate, wouldn't get bursted down unless they had horrible positioning, which, you know, actually happens a lot.
It's completely possible in this league. Like, I don't understand how this game is going on right now. I don't understand how it's not over. It seems so simple to me. Push mid and win. You guys still
As a
have the
5,
advantage.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes, as a 5. You guys still have the advantage after all of this. And I just don't understand what's happening here. How far do you have to drag this game out? How much do you have to humiliate them with the Janna that has an amp tome and boots at 37 minutes into the game? This is probably, I mean, I have to ask, do things like this regularly happen at Bronze? Because I got nothing, man.
Glad I'm not there. Oh, now
And
Teemo
another
has disconnected.
disconnect.
Maybe the red team can catch up now. Who knows? But okay, so they got an ace and Caitlyn pushed down an inhibitor. Good job.
Exactly.
That's all I have to say about that. That was the correct decision in this case. You know, inhibitor gives you a lot more control than these people probably realize. So that'll help them out a little bit. Maybe we might see Baron from the blue team. It would help them out quite a bit. And you know, if the red team were to push out and try to contest the Baron, their Nexus towers would be knocked on from those super minions coming down the mid lane. And they also have pushing in favor from the top and bottom, and they're still going to naturally push out even harder now that the inhibitor is down, giving all the minions a slight buff.
Yeah, it was a good idea for...
And Twisted Fate is standing on the trap the entire time.
Yeah, I got nothing. And then, wow, oh my god, no, Janna!
On the trap.
Janna! Janna, what are you doing? Oh my god.
She stepped on the trap.
Oh dear god, Janna. Man.
Home free. Home
Yeah.
free. So Hecarim got more damage. Blessing of the Elder Lizard. Still no tank. That's
Well,
fun.
it's okay. At least he's trying. You know, Quinn played it nice there. She dodged the binding and went in. The problem was that Morgana had her ultimate, so she was still able to crank out a lot of damage. But the thing that sealed the deal is Caitlyn had a very nice ultimate. You know, she wasn't able to get in range of the fight without that ace in the hole. That was the only thing that she could have gone in there with, and it managed to essentially secure that kill. It led up to a triple kill for her because Twisted Fate wanted to sit on a trap, and then Janna just decided to go full
Walk
dirt by
on
the end
the
of
trap.
that.
She was completely free. There was no ignite. There was no DOT. And she was living. She lived.
Let's be real, this game has
Caitlyn
been
was
so
dead.
depressing for her. After she sold all of her items, she decided to commit suicide.
And
Let's
go
just be
full
real
AP.
there.
And go full AP, by the way.
Exactly.
She might be going for a Void Staff with a Blasting Wand and an Amp Tome. I hope not.
It's gonna
I
help
really
her
do.
so much.
She's gonna be able to do damage, but she's gonna die really quickly.
Let's use the word damage in quotations here. You know, Janna, she doesn't have the worst AP scaling, but it's mediocre at best for what her kit does. But oh my goodness, Quinn actually managed to do something really nice here. Talk about some epic bushwhacking. But it looks like, no, Morgana. I'm trying not to play-by-play cast. What the hell is wrong with
flash
me?
away from that, though.
Yeah, it was...
Morgana was the only one there. There were 3 members of her own team. There's no need to flash there. One thing I want to mention that is actually an analysis point once again, is the fact that as a support with a shield like Janna or with a heal like Soraka or something like that, you don't actually want to build penetration at all. You want flat AP. Because your abilities, you know, your shield scales on AP, and having magic penetration, you're not magic resist isn't reducing the amount of shield your teammates are getting, so magic penetration is not going to help you whatsoever if you want to just shield people. But if she's going for the Void Staff, then we know that Janna wants to put out damage, which is very odd, I have to say. Because
I don't know if we'd say that she knows she wants to put out damage. That doesn't seem quite accurate in this particular
it's not
case.
even on the recommended build list.
You know, she pretty much picked it up. It's not going to be helpful for her, and there's the execute because somebody doesn't know how to tank swap. And that's
Not
that's
only
gonna
that,
be a
minions
dead
were
deal.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again. Did he ult in there? Did he ult into the bot lane? Let me check. No, he didn't.
no,
but
he was split
flashed.
pushing,
He
yeah.
flashed out, so
Yeah.
used up another flash, and that's gonna be pretty bad for him. You know, he could have. No, never mind.
Yeah, he couldn't have no. He's just no. at this
Yeah,
point.
he just shouldn't have been there in the first place.
No, it wasn't the worst tactic. He just overextended after he managed to grab a tower. What we're
Like,
seeing
he saw the
is
Caitlyn. He's
is
back.
the throws and the counter throws. Oh, how a DC matters so much in this game. So originally we saw Trundle and Hecarim managing to disconnect pretty much in sync with one another. You know, they slowly started to essentially get back into the game after they were able to come back. But we saw Teemo, probably the most fed person on the team at the time, being the most helpful, ending up going down. He went ahead and got disconnected himself, and now he's out of the game, and now the blue team knows what it's like to be in a 4v5, but we keep seeing these skirmishes. All I want to see them do is either take out the two
Fight
inhibs
at
after they group as 5, or just take the game. They have the advantage at this point. They've pressed it long enough. Quinn is fed to hell and back. I don't know why she doesn't have a GA at this point, because she is getting burst down, and Janna just... Yeah,
See, they should be waiting for TF to get in ult range, they should be waiting for Trundle, but instead they're fighting in the enemy base 3v4 and lost.
Exactly.
And Twisted Fate used his ultimate. Let's see if he... Okay, he went top, so, you know, I was actually expecting him to
I don't know how this
ult
game is
into
still
the
going.
team fight.
I really
Yeah,
don't know how this game is still going.
You know, I feel like the blue team at this point, they might be saying to each other, you know, the top lane tower's still up, let's go push top, or something like that. Please don't do it. God, they're moving towards the top side of the lane. Okay, they're pushing mid, that's good. Gonna take this inhibitor, I think.
Maybe they'll take the game. I mean, res timers at this point in the match are getting ridiculously long. People are going to be down for easily a minute. They really need to take advantage of this and just go and take the Nexus. Like, this is not something that is hard. It seems like it should be very simple, but instead, they're going for the double inhibitors as opposed to just trying to close out the game at this point. And in return, they're pretty much going to lose their entire team, which is going to allow the rest of them to go ahead and get back up, and then, oh my god, how did he die?
Alright, so... Okay, Quinn is here. Wow, that was a very quick kill,
She
but...
has 23 kills. What do you expect?
I don't know how you have 23 kills and you just don't...
John is
close
building
up
a
game, you don't-
Rylai's.
So her Zephyr will slow, but it already did.
Yeah.
Her Q will slow, but it already knocked people up. And she has no other abilities that can target enemy champions.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
This seems like an odd, it.
Let's just go with Woodley
It's like if
plays.
Nautilus went for a Rylai's.
Alright.
I need more CC, guys.
Blitzcrank too. Or you know what? Thresh with that box, because you know what you need? You need a slow that is a snare.
It's already basically a snare.
I know.
The only difference is that people can dash and flash out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Alright, so the red team, they pushed down their own inhibitor. So the game will continue on.
This is
Caitlyn
like
has...
torture. I couldn't imagine legitimately casting this without wanting to fall over and die.
Caitlyn has a hurricane, which... Okay, so I see why people would think hurricane on Caitlyn's a good item. Like, if you're standing in a bush, you get headshot procs every attack. But at the same time, they're not fighting in bushes anymore. That's not gonna happen. They're all fighting in each other's base, and at the same time, she's gonna die before she gets 3 auto attacks off in the first place.
She also has a PD as well as an IE. She's got a very high crit chance as she is. She doesn't need to go ahead and rely so heavily on that headshot proc. Fun fact, Hurricane has one of the lowest win percentages in the game as far as items go. That shouldn't really come as a surprise to anyone. There's a reason it's not built. But more importantly, more to the fact, it looks like TF is finally, and I use finally loosely, I don't know why, but he's managed to build a GA, which isn't going to be bad, seeing as he pretty much gets 2-shot at this point. But both of these teams, something that I'd like to note, aside from the blue team finally getting Baron, or anybody finally getting Baron, I have yet to see a dragon taken this entire game. I don't recall any outside objectives being taken in regards to Dragon or Baron since the start of this match. 46 minutes seems incredibly late to go ahead and do that. Wait a second. Hecarim just smited a tiny minion. He didn't
Yeah.
even smite the super minion. What the fuck, man? Just what the
Gotta get
fuck?
that CS. Alright, so Twisted Fate willingly steps on traps, still. But at least this time, Kalen's not there to follow up. Or no one's there to follow up, so
Exactly.
they're pushing with 4 of them down the... Where's the 5th? Oh, John is behind... Why, Jonna, why are you behind the enemy team? Okay, but here comes the actual initiation. I like the Nami ult. She was able to knock a couple of them up, but I would have liked to see it aimed a little bit more northward to capture Twisted Fate and Kalen in that as well. But it looks like, you know, Poppy's doing a pretty good job of keeping everyone in the back line worried, and the entire front line of the red team, Trundle and Hecarim, were basically trying to dive the enemy carries. So that left their extremely squishy champions like Twisted Fate, like Janna and Quinn. I don't see her enough to do that. Quinn. So she, what was I saying?
Quinn got singled out in that fight, and she immediately died, and she is the bulk of the red team's damage at this point. She has to be kept alive. And it looks like she finally went and decided to pick up a GA, but it's too little too late at this point. And Teemo, man, he's got that stealth action going on in base. He's got this. But I think the blue team will finally be able to close this game out. Though I don't know why Morgana thinks that's going to help, because I'm pretty sure, no, Poppy manages to not get executed, which is probably the most surprising thing that's happened in this game. And it looks like they might
Last
finally
15
be
minutes.
able to win. Finally!
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god! How was that so
50
difficult
minutes
for them?
of 50 minutes of what the hell that was. Alright, let's take a look at some of the end game builds. Just because it's really... You know, blue team managed to win without Teemo at the end as well.
Yeah, always important
Oh,
to
the
know.
throws. Okay, so finalized builds for the game. Rylai's on Janna. So, Janna's abilities slowed more than they did before, I think. I don't know. Janna has a Rylai's. Janna has a Rylai's.
I mean, and it's not like she made bad gold in that game. She had 10k gold as a support, which wasn't too far off from what Teemo had. And granted, Nami had more, but Nami also had kills and a lot more assists. She could have had a lot better items if she didn't decide to go for that AP build after sacking everything for wards. Literally everything for wards. I just got sent something. I think this is a logo for us. Oh yeah, look at that logo. That actually looks really cool. Really? Really? That's what you're going with? Really?
I can't read the text.
Yeah, the text will probably have to be changed, but this is the logo that was drafted for the team. It's really nice, and I want to start using it for us. I mean, it is nice, but yeah, I agree that the text is hard to read.
That is my brutally honest opinion of it.
I just said I
Other
agree
than that,
with
it
you.
looks pretty cool. I'm not saying you didn't.
Although
Although
your whole deal is being brutally honest.
Yeah. Who all is in here? Is
Do
Braun
that a
in
lot.
here? You're really
Yeah.
tiny. Your voice is really tiny right now. You need to fix that.
I know my voice is really tiny.
Okay, well fix it.
Throughout the
Okay.
entirety
and
of
this
that game,
concludes the most professional cast we've ever had at Tower Dive TV.
I
Most
was drawing on
professional.
myself because that game was so interesting.
Yeah,
Wait,
I mean
Annette,
it was.
put the logo back up. I want to see the logo.
Yeah, hang on a second. I'm gonna add an image and actually add it onto the stream because it looks a little funny the way it is now. Let's see here. Where did this actually save to? I have no idea where that saved to.
The
Show
hidden
in
temporary file of doom.
folder.
Oh, the thing got announced as well, too.
Yes, the tournament we're doing did get announced. Oh, it got.
Oh, is that the one I saw in the chat?
Yes, that was the one that was posted in the chat. Hang on a second, guys. Here we go. This should look a lot better. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Holy hell. Does that look... That looks really cool, right? Hang on a second. Let me go ahead and get
Oh, I
rid of
liked
Lulu
it.
here.
Does
Good.
look a lot better. I can read the
Yeah.
text.
Yeah! Toad App TV.
Now I can't, because Lulu's... Yeah.
I
okay.
fixed it.
was
Okay,
pretty
Lulu
I
was
epic.
fixed it.
raping the dragon.
That's
Pretty epic.
Really? You're gonna go with that? I'm totally putting this on stream now. I don't even care if this was meant for the team. This is going on stream now, okay? Thank you. Bye.
Does look a little
Bye.
like a dragon, so I'm happy.
Alright, anyways, guys, we're gonna get into the next game. I think we're gonna have Braun and Grizz cast so I can get a break. I also need to, like, talk to somebody somewhere else. And we're not casting Wood League, okay? Wood League was great for about the first 10 minutes, and then I just wanted to kill myself after that. Why? Why would anybody in their right mind go, how did I get honorable opponent? I'm
Wait,
so
Nanette, were you
confused.
in the game?
I may as well have been. Alright, I found a match. It's only 4 minutes in. We're gonna go ahead and get into this.
Actually, if she was technically in that game, she actually did better than everyone in that entire game.
I know, right?
Doing
kind of
nothing
OP.
would have served their team better.
Kind of OP.
Oh, we're gonna get into this game. No more Wood League for us, so you guys can go ahead and check this out. It'll be pretty awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself, and I think Grizz and Braun are gonna go ahead and take this away, or Grizz and Azaraki, because Braun's mic is, like, so tiny right now. Like, seriously, you
Shut up.
sound like you're 6 inches tall. Fix it, man. Fix it.
It's fine.
How does that make sense?
It's not fine. It sounds tiny.
Really? It's still tiny?
It sounds tiny, yeah. I'm gonna mute myself. You guys figure it out, and I'll
That
be
doesn't
right
make
back.
any
It
sense.
doesn't sound tiny, it sounds muffled.
Yeah, of course it sounds muffled. Should be fine now. I don't know what you're complaining about. Azza, does it
Yeah.
sound fine?
I mean, it doesn't sound bad. Like, it sounds different than normally, yeah.
That's weird. Hold on.
Sounds like you have a cotton ball in your mouth.
A little bit.
Puppy, here.
I don't get why it does that sometimes.
Puppy, out. I just got in game.
Stopped in the game.
Did you change anything?
No, I just turned up the volume in Skype, which I had turned down.
Alrighty then. I hate you, League of Legends. Why you do this to me?
League no like you. League likes you about as much as that Sona likes that Lulu.
Alright, so we are now getting 6 minutes into the game, and let's see, for blue team we have a Varus, Talon, Lulu, Nocturne, and my favorite, Xin Zhao. And accompanied on the red team is a Caitlyn, Elise, Nunu, Sona, and Urgot. Quite interesting as I see trying to get these stupid champions down. They're not going to their respective lanes.
I
And
mean,
Nocturne top.
ooh, Lane Nocturne. Okay, so Lane Nocturne's kind of OP.
Alright, Nocturne versus Elise. We got Talon versus Urgot. We have Xin Zhao versus Nunu. We got the supports. We got Varus versus Caitlyn. And we got Lulu versus Sona. It's
And we
pretty
got
awesome.
Nunu sneaking down into the bot lane. He's gonna get a snowball off onto Lulu. She's gonna pop out her shield. Caitlyn's gonna follow up, misses the hilt over Peacemaker, but still getting off basic attack. Nunu's gonna chase her under the tower. The snowball is going to land. He's gonna get polymorph, taking too much damage, take the tower shot, and out comes the Q out of Varus, picks up the kill on the Caitlyn. Now turning onto the Sona, Xin Zhao has shown up. One more basic attack. It's actually gonna be Lulu who picks it up. Wait, no, Xin Zhao got it, but he didn't basic attack her.
Hey, Braun, I think you're on the wrong day, buddy.
I'm on the wrong game?
Wrong day.
Wrong day? What do you mean?
Yeah, casted games for last night.
It was
This
still
game
epic to
knows.
cast. It was still epic to cast. I like
You're
casting
just doing the
things.
color side, not play by play.
Dude, I wanted to play that one. That was an epic job. That was an epic dive. Nunu went to him.
Alright, as we look in the builds here, Nocturne, he does, actually, one of his first items were the sword, followed by 2 rejuvenation beads. And Elise picking up a ruby crystal and an amplifying tome. Obviously, we're going to see her build into the haunting guys there. Obviously, typical first item for an Elise. And then on Talon, he had a first item Doran's Blade, followed with a longsword, and now a boost of speed with 2 rejuvenation beads. And on Urgot, we have a Brutalizer, obviously with the first buy of a Doran's Blade, and boots as well. You know, it's quite interesting to see as breaking away from the whole meta of seeing double ATs, just ADs in general, being played in mid, and not really seeing that many APs in a game. Obviously, we have the Elise over there, and I don't know if Nunu is going to go tanky yet, or if he is actually going to build an AP Nunu, which I find to be really strong.
Yeah, I kind of like I like Lane Nocturne. I think he's underappreciated. He just has really really strong wave clear. Although up against Elise, I don't think he's gonna have that good a time. And looks like Xin Zhao's gonna get the smite steal on the Nunu.
And it looks like he's going to continue on as we do see those pings coming down. I don't know if Xin Zhao has enough burst yet. As Elise turns around and all ends onto that poor Xin Zhao. You know, I don't think that was a really good play by Xin Zhao. He obviously didn't have enough to all in on that Elise, and Elise just turned around and was like, here's a spider, you die.
Yep, and two kills picked up in the bot lane. I would say that the Sona Caitlyn lane shouldn't be picking fights up against Varus Lulu. Varus Lulu is going to do way more damage, at least in a really good burst, and see whether or not Nunu can come in and gank this.
Well, Lulu, anything really strong. I really dislike Lulu as a support. She's so harassed. Like, I don't like her harass. She's just so strong with her harass, and her ability to harass with her slow is just ridiculous.
I'm thinking up in top lane we'll probably see Elise build into Sunfire Cape. Sunfire Cape Elise is really, really strong. Deals with pretty much any AD, and then it lets you sit in the lane. You can split push, and you know when you dive in on things, the Sunfire damage just starts to hit everyone. And Elise likes to go in and then out and then in and out of fights. So Sunfire Cape should have let her tank up whenever she takes any damage.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna see obviously the first item Haunting Guys, and then probably a tanky item. If she's smart. I don't know. I really believe it looks like Nocturne is going to build into a Ma the Malmortis. I don't remember. The Hex Drinker is the first one, which is a really good buy for him for a first item in general, especially topping against the Elise.
Yeah, I'm really curious about the mid lane matchup. I mean, I've seen Urgot go mid to bully out specific people. I've played it myself a couple times, never to too much great success. Maybe it's because Talon, you know, if Talon dives on Urgot's tanky, he can pretty much handle it.
And I mean, I don't know if Talon was a really, really strong pick against an Urgot mid, even though Talon does have that burst ability when he does get his ultimate down. Along with his bleed and his silence, but he's not really, in all honesty, especially with the tanky AD like Urgot, a good assassin against him.
So taking a look at build so far, it looks like Caitlyn, she's realized that she's not really winning the lane. And, you know, we see both these guys going with the early pickaxe, wanting to keep that constant damage increase, not really waiting out for their BF swords.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that Caitlyn should have saved up and got the BF first. Really, I mean, her Piltover does quite a bit of damage as it is to push the minions back. But her damage compared to Varus's at this point in time with that Lulu support, she really needed a little bit more damage than picking up that pickaxe and that Vampiric Scepter first.
Yep. Gank up in top lane. Elise should be able to get out of there safely. I know Xin Zhao wants to dive.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, he won't get picked up as no Ignite went down onto him, and the tower didn't finish off that last hit. You know, really good job, Xin Zhao. I would say one of the more stronger junglers, especially for diving a tower. And you do get that last knock up. And not just that, it's if the other jungler or the middle lane tries to teleport in, you have your ultimate to knock those people back and continue down on that single person and pick up that kill.
Yeah, and you know the reason Lane Nocturne, Jungle Nocturne's always been nice because he can gank from outside wards. But if this Nocturne can farm up enough gold, he's gonna walk in with his teammates. He's gonna get right into the back line and be able to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and we do see that tankiness coming out from Urgot as Talon tried to dive onto him, and just a really bad play on him. He was dealing absolute zero damage to Urgot. As you take a look, Urgot really doesn't have any tanky items. He's just an innately tanky AD carry. I mean, here he has a Brutalizer, he has the Tear of the Goddess, he has the Doran's Blade. No real tanky items. Talon kind of opting for a gank, mid gank build. He did pick up the Boots of Mobility. He still only has the Doran's Blade and the Longsword. And that's going to be an easy dragon for red team as we see Xin Zhao just kind of running in, maybe wanting to initiate to start a team fight, but I don't think that'd be a wise idea right now.
No, he would have gotten collapsed upon pretty far, but it looks like they want to possibly make a play onto this blue buff. Someone is going to stay. They're going to get the ward down. I'd say Nocturne might have been able to dive in if they had vision beforehand, but at this point it's too late.
No, his ultimate was already down. He couldn't dive in.
Oh, his ultimate is down.
Yeah, we do see Xin Zhao going in a little too ham, and we do see the crescendo coming out. Really good job on that Sona saying is there's only 2 members there, that Nocturne and that Xin Zhao, and she knew they could easily pick up that Xin Zhao really quickly, and that good crescendo coming out, securing that kill for their team.
Ooh, nice flash away by Urgot. He might still die. Nocturne wants to dive him.
Yeah, we did see the Ignite come down. I think it was from Varus. As he flashed in, no, I'm sorry, the Ignite came down from Nocturne, but Varus flashed in and got that Q off, which gave him the assist and some extra damage. But one thing I would like to say is Nocturne built Tiamat first versus an Elise. I actually think we might see a lane swap going on. Talon go top to go against Elise, which I really don't think it was a bright idea to do.
I mean, he's not winning against Urgot, and he's already, they've already taken the tower, so he might as well roam. They're probably going to go up and gank him. Nocturne's on his way up. His ultimate's actually coming up now. They don't know Nunu's in the jungle, but actually down in bot lane, Xin Zhao, I thought he was going to go all in on Sona. But yeah, up in top lane, Talon's going to engage, and Nocturne's going to follow up with his ultimate.
Absolutely. And as we get in here, having a look real quick. Ron, continue.
Yep, so Xin Zhao diving down into the bot lane. He's not going to pick up any kills. Actually going to take a fair bit of damage for all of this trouble. Lulu has an Ignite, so that's going to help her push off both the Caitlyn and the Sona. And ooh, up in top lane, I think Nocturne might be able to kill this Nunu. No, the fear didn't go in the right direction for him.
Absolutely, and as we look over Caitlyn finally picking up that BF sword along with Varus. We actually do see the exact similar builds almost. Varus did finally finish off his Berserker Greaves where Caitlyn doesn't have her boots completed yet. And as we look at the support, Sona is 0-3-1, and Lulu's 2-0-2. Lulu has 2 kills. She's kind of going a little bit pokey, a little bit more damage as she built that Fiendish Codex, not only for some more AP, but also for that cooldown reduction.
You know, she's managed to pick herself up 2 kills, so might as well put it to some good use. And Lulu is one of those champions who can get more aggressive with some ability power. She's been known to be able to do that. And ooh, we have a little bit of an engagement in mid lane.
And that was actually a really good job on Blue to see that engage. As Talon did take quite a bit of damage, but Nocturne coming in. Nocturne with that Tiamat doing quite a bit of damage. As he already does deal quite a bit of damage on his 4th hit. Well, roughly 4th hit. As what's the cooldown on his passive again?
It's
10 seconds.
It's 10 seconds reduced with basic attacks. And
yeah,
ooh,
so
Caitlyn
roughly
has to be
about every
careful.
4 hits. And Caitlyn, good flash on Caitlyn getting back over to that tower. It looks like Elise is there now, and Elise will be able to... Oh, no, she does flash in. Doing some pretty good damage. Gonna leave that kill, but no, Xin Zhao, really good job. I don't know if he meant to absorb that hit, because that would have been a dead Nocturne, but Xin Zhao using his ultimate, very good job with that ultimate, knocking everybody back, allowing him to escape. And as we have a look over here, we do see Nunu. He is going more towards a tankier Nunu. He finished up the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. He does have the Boots Mobility, which is a really strong item for junglers, and as we see most junglers pick that item up. We do see that Ruby Crystal Cloth Armor and Rejuvenation Bead coming out on his side, but we see Xin Zhao finally finishing up his Wiggles and his Phage. He doesn't have completed boots yet, which is already almost, no, it is 18 minutes into the game, and not having completed boots as a jungler is really bad, especially this late in the game.
Yeah, no, he's lost a lot of mobility, a lot of tank opportunities, probably due to having no boots. And I kind of want to disagree with the Wriggles. I think Wriggles, they've made it a little bit better, but it's not worth the gold. It's too expensive for the stats that it gives. It either needs some more damage, some more lifesteal, some more something. Because right now, it really isn't offering all that much.
No, I agree with you on the whole Wiggles thing. I mean, the only jungler that I still see built, and I still think it should be built on, is Lee Sin to have those easy escape over walls, because you always have that ward. But we do see Nocturne. It looks like that Ignite no does not get him. Picking up that kill on the Elise, using his ultimate to block the vision from everybody. Or maybe he was trying to jump to a minion to escape from under that tower, but it was not needed.
Well, I'd say he used it for the burst damage. People forget that Nocturne does about 200 damage or so when it hits. It's never been huge, and he's going to walk right into Nunu, pops out all of his shields, the Hexdrinker shield as well as his normal one, and looks like they're going to be a dive-in on Nunu.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the thing with Xin Zhao is if you don't build attack speed, you know, especially against that Nunu, you don't have your ultimate up. He kind of almost got that full cycle off on his ultimate, which could have been very detrimental to change the fight into his favor.
Yeah, and there's a possibility that that's going to become a problem later into the game. You know, Xin Zhao, he's going to be able to go in there, he'll ult knock them away. But you're right, if he doesn't get the attack speed up so he can get those knockup procs, Nunu could get off a really good ultimate later in the game and, you know, slow down the entire team, maybe pull off an Empire.
Yeah, I could see that, but you know, the ways Xin Zhao is currently jungling and the items that he has built, he's actually really hurting his team. Instead of building, you typically see a Xin Zhao pick up, or even majority of a lot of the junglers who are supposed to be tankier, they build the Iron Solari, so you can get that shield onto everybody and absorb that early damage in a team fight. And you know, he's opting for damage. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I think we will either see. I don't think he'll build into Triforce. I think he's going for a Frozen Mallet, which, in all honesty, dude, you don't have your boots done yet. You have to catch people to hit him to get that proc with your Frozen Mallet.
Well, apparently we're learning that solo lane Nocturne is godlike, as he picks up a kill onto Elise and will help facilitate another kill, a double kill actually for himself, with the Lulu ultimate coming in onto Urgot. So Tiamat's Hexdrinker Brutalizer Mercury Shreds, new builds. Gonna have to try that later this week.
Well, you do see Tiamat's coming out. You do see it used a lot. I believe I always forget it. I think it's is it the Omwrecker or is it
Ravenous Hydra.
Ravenous Hydra. I keep getting those two mixed up. The Ravenous Hydra, you see Trendemir's building that. You do see even Vi starting to build that. You know, Tiamat's a really good item. It's not only good for that push on minions, but it's also really good when you're in a team fight and everyone's grouped up. You get that AoE damage down.
Indeed, and especially in combination with Nocturne's passive, that basic attack that is AoE will still proc the Tiamat, so you can get double the AoE damage around him, especially once he ranks it up to a Ravenous Hydra. Basically doing, you know, three basic attacks in one movement, which is gonna start racking up pretty hard.
And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be seeing Elise build into the Sunfire, as it looks like she's opted for building a Rylai's instead. You know, I kind of 50-50 on that, building a Rylai's versus building the Sunfire Cape. I think the slows are a little bit stronger for Elise to have versus having that extra damage and tankiness that comes from the Sunfire Cape. But at this point in time, we do see that Nocturne is 8-0 and 2. Sunfire Cape would have been a smart item.
Alright, Nocturne's gonna be diving up top, and I think Talon's probably gonna die here. Oh no, he's actually gonna manage to pick up a kill.
No, it looks like we will see possibly a shutdown bonus come down on the Nocturne. And yes, that is a shutdown bonus for Elise. Nocturne kind of pushing up a little too far, trying to get that kill on that tanky Nunu, was not able to do it because Nunu, being the tank that he is, just tanked Nocturne while Elise bursted down Nocturne with the quickness.
Yep, and Lulu's damage is starting to rack up. She's got that Cage Lucky pick, so she'll have her, I believe it's Spectral Wraith? Spirit of Spectral Wraith is, no, that has magic resist on it, so that's a null magic mantle. So she'll probably just sit on that for the extra gold gain for now.
probably would. I mean, she is 4-1 and 2, picking up kills, leaving this. Well, actually, Varus is still 2-0 and 4, but he does have 175 CS to Caitlyn's 154. Unfortunately, Nunu getting caught out, but we do see some help coming in from the Caitlyn with her Piltover. But unfortunately, Nunu flash out. Really good flash, but Talon jumped back in and did pick up that kill, but he did pay for it. And now we do see Lulu go for the retreat, but unfortunately, gosh, what is his name again? Urgot, really good ultimate, pulled her back, secured the kill for their team.
So we do see Nocturne should be able to pick up this kill on Caitlyn. This Ravenous Hydra starting to do a lot of damage for him. The extra damage, we'll see Varus will fall, and Nocturne is pretty much going to get to 1v1. He's not really all that tanky, so this really isn't a good idea for him. He's pretty much gone straight into damage and magic resist, and that's about it. He's got a little regen off of the Tiamat, doesn't have his Ravenous Hydra just yet. So as soon as he gets that, he'll be healing a little bit more, but if he's not basic attacking, he's not healing. So he pretty much has to be on the target at all times.
And as we have a look at the Xin Zhao, he did finally finish up that Frozen Mallet, but come on, dude. 25 minutes into the game, and you don't have finished boots yet. Look at everybody else on the team except for Lulu, but Lulu, actually, as I have a look over at her, she built a Morello Nomicon. She finished up with her Fiendish Codex and built that Morello Nomicon. That's actually a really interesting buy for Lulu.
That's what I was forgetting, what turned into Cages Like You Pick and Fiendish Codex. So now that she's got a Morello Nomicon, she's using that to reduce the lifesteal gain that's coming off, or all the healing that's coming off of the enemy team. There's a Vamp Scepter, then there's the Sona heals, and then there's a little bit of healing coming out of Elise with her Skittering Frenzy. So picking that up is going to reduce the healing. It's going to make it so Urgot is less tanky and Nunu is less tanky, because Nunu's, for the most part, built up health and a little bit of armor.
And we do see on Sona going for the more traditional support, as she does have her Sight Stone, she does have that Kindle Gem, she does have her Philo Stone. It looks like she's going to go ahead and possibly finish those items up. But one thing I do want to point out, which is interesting, is Sona also built Boots of Mobility. I mean, I don't really ever see supports picking up that item.
I actually love picking it up on a couple of supports. Mostly it's Taric. I do it on Sona every once in a while. Taric was the main one, but Taric isn't being played all that much often anymore. But it's just really nice to be able to get around the map as a support. And if you're building up your standard support items, which are Lock of the Iron, Solari, and Aegis of the Legion, you don't really feel as if you need the extra defensive boots.
No, we do see that Nocturne kind of went a little ham, jumping straight down onto that Urgot, and they do pick up the kill onto Urgot, but the entirety of the red team is just turning and just dealing a lot of damage, forcing a couple members from the blue team back. And we do see Xin Zhao, not a really strong ultimate, as it did not knock anybody back into the pit of his team.
Yeah, no, the positioning on the ultimate wasn't particularly good. It did get everybody out alive. Xin Zhao's gotten very, very lucky. The fact that he's just, finished up his boots recently hasn't been too detrimental to him, because the enemy team has basically been walking into him. They've been letting him deal with the fact that he doesn't need boots. They took it out of lane phase fairly quickly. Nocturne was pushing top really, really hard, so it wasn't as much of a problem that Xin Zhao didn't have gank boots. He didn't have 5-speed boots.
And it looks like we will see a second Dragon Beam taken for the red team. I don't think Talon and Varus are in a good position to fight that. I don't know why that Caitlyn, Sona, and Nunu didn't jump in on that. Elise was coming around from the side. That would have been an easy 2 kills for them.
Well, at least we'll be able to walk in there and help facilitate a kill on Caitlyn. Talon, again, he's not really a defensive style champion. His job is to pretty much go in and burst the carries down, but he shouldn't be trying to do anything solo. He's not really all that fed. He's actually fairly far behind. He's mostly picking up assists at this point.
And meanwhile, we have Nocturne taking out that final tower, as he probably will continue to push onto the base tower, and probably that inhib. Doing a really good job at backdooring. I don't know if he's upset with his team. Man, you guys are trying to win this game for us, I'm just going to go backdoor. Well, you guys go and team fight.
So looks like enemy team Lulu fairly low. She's finally picked up her sight stone and is starting to go more into your standard support items. Where on the other hand, Sona still hasn't backed yet. I don't think she has enough gold to pick up anything she's looking for. Nocturne's finished off his Yumon's Ghostblade, an item we don't see all that often. I think it was like Nocturne, Xin Zhao used to build it. Jarvan's would build it every once in a while, but we don't really see it that much anymore.
Actually used to see it built a lot on Talon as well. I don't know if you ever saw it that much. Saw it quite a bit on him as well. But we do see Talon continue to push a top lane. We do see that Nocturne went ahead and pushed that bottom lane as well. Blue team in a really good position. Every single lane is pushing. You know, Nocturne really strong, really big this game right now. Showing his presence now as we come to the middle lane. I don't think it is a wise idea for him to dive down as soon as Crescendo was up. But we do see the Lulu ultimate coming down on the him. Maybe save his life, but no, that final tower hit will secure the kill for Sona. At least picks up that Talon. And unfortunately, not a smart idea for Xin Zhao as he was picked up as well, staying under tower too long. Really strong team fight, you know, for the red team. You know, Nocturne initiated that fight for their favor. He went in a little too hard under the tower and was taken out very early with the beautiful crescendo from Sona.
This Lulu, so the fact that she's picked up the extra AP let her 1v1 the Sona. It was a good old-fashioned support fight. You know, Nocturne, he went a little too far in. He's their main source of damage. He's got 11 of their kills, which is, for the most part, most of them. And they did take out Urgot quickly, but he dived too hard. He soaked up too much CC thinking he was tanky enough. Of which, you know, he has finally picked up a Giant's Belt, picking up some more tank items. He's picked up an extra Vamp Scepter, so maybe we'll see a Blade of the Ruin King out of him. Add some attack speed in there. I'd say that would be safe. He'd be able to cut through more of the health of Nunu and Urgot, which is becoming a problem for him. The fact that there's so much health on the enemy team, he can't really burst through everyone. Blade of the Ruin King, that'll give him the extra activate, which will heal him up when he does decide to dive a target, and it'll cut through the Rylai's, plus the Rylai's Leandries that Elise has, the massive amount of health coming out of the Aegis of the Legion, Spirit of the Elder Golem. So gonna be able to start taking out some of those tanks, and even Sona has built up a ton of health.
Yeah, and we do see now that onto Urgot, he has finally finished up that Mere Mana. He does have a Last Whisper, he does have a Black Cleaver. You know, he's going to be someone to be feared here coming up real shortly as soon as he finishes up that Blade of the Ruin King, which is more likely what we're seeing that Vampiric Scepter going to be built into. Hopefully we'll see the
I would even say another Blade of the Ruin King would be smart. No, Urgot doesn't have a Giant's Belt, but
I didn't say Giant's Belt.
Yeah, he was talking about a Vamp Scepter. He's talking about the fact that Urgot has a Vamp Scepter on top of his Muramana. Nocturne has a Giant's Belt. We were talking about Nocturne's Giant's Belt a little while ago. Ooh,
yeah, we do see a nice ultimate coming down from Urgot locking out that Lulu, picking up that kill for their team as they continue pushing down, as they do have Baron with that unfortunate throw on Nocturne's part left it open for them.
Yeah, they should easily be able to push down onto this tower. They've got a Caitlyn. She can just poke at it for days and days and days. Their engagement is fairly weak right now, though Nocturne, he keeps thinking about it, but he's not that tanky anymore. And Xin Zhao, his build isn't really designed for him to go in all that hard. He's got a bunch of health, but he doesn't have the extra activate out of the Lock of the Iron Solari.
Yeah, no, I mean, in all honesty, this Xin Zhao's a failure for this game. He didn't build Xin Zhao properly, and I really didn't see him that active early on in the game to get those ganks down that he really needs early game to be effective in team fights towards the mid to late game, which is really sad because Nocturne was fed, Nocturne was strong, but now that we're starting to get towards late game, he's kind of useless because the entirety of the red team is so tanky that his damage is nothing because now they don't have a tank. They don't have anyone to initiate other than Nocturne, and he's just too squishy to do it.
Yeah, we saw Nocturne. He went in, he tried, but he got completely burned. He got absolutely obliterated because, there's he's either going in too hard on his own, or there's no one to follow up with him. And look at this, Urgot's just chilling, tanking the tower, not really having an issue with it. They'll be able to pick up this inhibitor tower, and probably an inhibitor.
Oh, definitely an easy inhibitor, and probably could. No, they could not push out bottom lane, but they could possibly push down one of the Nexus towers. As Nocturne is going to be up in 6 seconds, but I think they'll just turn around and run. But through that entire engagement, I didn't see who's in Zhao jumped down onto, but I think he jumped down onto Nunu as his as Zin's ultimate did not knock Nunu back, which allowed Nunu that full run through of his ultimate, which a lot of damage if you let that go.
Well, people are backing now. We see Shirelia's Reverie, kind of a forgotten item, not used all that much anymore. People do like it for certain engagement comps, but you know, it's fallen out of favor a little bit. Elise, she's picked up her Sunfire Cape. Like I said, Sunfire Cape great on Elise. She can use it to tank. She can stay in the fight, especially if she likes to stay Spider form, be able to switch in, take up a ton of damage. Caitlyn hasn't picked up anything yet, so she's probably waiting for a little bit more. Urgot has yet to buy another item, so probably looking to finish something big. He's got a BF sword, so it's probably going to be a Bloodthirster at this point. And ooh, Talon.
Really nice damage coming from him, though. He turned on to Sona, which I don't think was the wisest idea, as I'm fairly certain he could have turned and bursted down and finished off that Caitlyn.
Yeah, it looks like Lulu will get caught. She will die. Varus will probably make it either safe. Like Nocturne wanted to split push, but there's just too much power. There's too much tankiness. They let it get too far into late game, and even if they don't have an AP mid, they've got good magic damage out of Elise. And Caitlyn's just such a heavy late game AD carry.
Well, another issue that we're seeing, Varus is still ahead of Caitlyn on CS, but he only has 2 kills and 9 assists. Caitlyn's 7 kills and 10 assists. Caitlyn has a little bit more play money to work with than Varus. Unfortunately, Lulu looks like she picked up, even though we did see her solo a couple of times when Varus was already dead and picking up those easy kills, but she's already like 3-0 by the time Varus was 2-1, I think. Which isn't a good thing. You don't want to see your support picking up those kills, and I really dislike seeing that wasted flashes. He was not going to get away from that.
Yep. Talon's going to dive pretty hard, and Sona's chasing Xin Zhao. She probably won't be able to pick up a kill, but, you know, Sona's done her job fairly well in that last engagement with Talon. She was able to stun him out and take care of him. Now, Caitlyn's reaching a very, very strong point. I don't know what Nocturne's up to in top lane. He can't even handle Elise because she's just too tanky for him.
It wasn't the simple fact that she did finally finish that Sunfire Cape, which is really strong, which gave her more health and tankiness. Nocturne hasn't built anything. He only has that giant spell. The only tank item that he really has, which isn't even a tank item, is his Hex Drinker. And he is just not strong enough to dive under a tower right now.
You know, he thinks it's still the point where he was, you know, soloing her and someone else, but it looks like it is going to be GG. Red team picking up the game pretty much due to just holding out until late game.
It wasn't just due to holding out till late game. It was bad initiations on the part of Nocturne, jumping in way ahead of his team and without the tankiness and just dying. I would say 80% of the time to a really good Sona Crescendo, just locking out that Nocturne. And once Nocturne died, that was it. The damage was done.
All right, guys, so I think this is our last game of League of Legends. Things will be switching over to Game Analysis Night for Guild Wars 2, I believe. Yes. Chiming in of Lunette. Nope.
Nope, we're going to be doing more League of Legends tonight. Apparently none of the Guild Wars 2 people are on despite the signups we got, so we kind of got to work with what we got here. So I think me and Azza are like going to power through the last match and just be fucking awesome together, because, well,
Do it, you won't.
we're gonna be awesome together.
Dude,
we could do Guild Wars.
Peer pressure.
I don't color cast for Guild Wars. It'll be 2 play-by-play casters. We'll be talking about things on opposite ends of the map.
This was 2 play-by-play casters casting League of Legends.
Yeah, Guild
Or
Wars
Game
2.
Analysis
Guild Wars 2
League of
is
Legends.
different though. You don't understand.
I'd like to think my knowledge is good enough that I can, you know, muddle my way through a color cast.
Yeah, but the other thing that comes with that is how long have you been casting in general, Braun?
A long time, almost 2 years.
For League of Legends, you've been doing
almost 2 years.
Yeah. How long have we been casting for Guild Wars 2?
Almost 2 months.
Not even.
No, nope.
A few
Wow, really?
weeks. A few weeks.
Oh dear God.
So
oh yeah,
no.
it was a month that you started playing.
Yeah,
Guild
it was a month
even
since I started playing. So
Oh.
no.
For you guys, not for
Ron.
me.
No.
Get on my level.
Too
Ron,
ambitious.
you kept passing everything. It was like, oh, but Kaylin is in here for an engagement. It's like, okay. Who are you
Yeah.
passing to? The other color caster?
The other
Exactly.
color caster. Well, you were like,
Too
don't
proud.
do play-by-play, so I'm like, okay, stop talking.
Habits are hard
I
to
wanted to
break.
start freaking jumping into freaking play-by-play. It's like, no, we have to color cast. And you know what? No, you don't get a color cast. Damn it.
Yeah,
My friends list is full again. I'm gonna have to clear it out by the end of the night.
The net too popular.
Dude, again, you get on stream, you manage a tourney. Even if you
I know,
don't
I know,
manage
I
a
know.
tourney, everybody wants to add
when I
me
was
for
doing
some
go for walls
retarded
every
reason.
single day. I had way
I
too many people
know.
in my friends list. 'cause
I
just didn't
know,
have-
right?
Especially on EU West. Like
Yeah.
my EU West friends list is just gamers from games.
Nice.
I decline all the people that try to invite me. It's
Why
funny.
is this person's status message just lunettes? I don't.
They're probably wanting
I
to get in contact with
I just
you.
ran across this. Like, I'm looking for games. This person's status message is just lunette. I don't. Right. So moving on. We're gonna spectate some Lux games.
As much moving on that is possible at this moment.
Yeah. No
I got an
freaking
idea,
kidding.
Lunette. Let's four-man color this.
Oh
On another note-
God, that's terrible.
Wait. Can we do the round robin casting that we tried? It was hilarious. Everybody gets one line in one coherent thought and it passes.
Oh my God, this sounds like a terrible idea.
No, it goes
Doing
great.
it.
It goes
Well-
great as long as everyone's paying attention. It's just like coherent thought, and then someone else coherent thought, and you add on to what the previous person said. And the moment that there's nothing good to add on to, you move on to the next statement, the next train of thought.
That's weird.
What kind
Dude,
of
we
mess?
did
What
it
kind
though.
of name
We
is
did it.
McFapsy?
Lynette, you remember it. You remember we did it.
I don't remember it. I'm sorry. I don't even think I was a part of it, but it
You
probably
were so
happened.
a part of it.
Was I really?
It
And
will
yes,
be
I
swapping
make-
in new casters. We literally
Oh.
adding in new people.
Yeah, I
He's
remember
trying
that.
to switch
Okay.
things around.
I was there for that too.
Yeah, you
Oh
were-
yeah, that. God, yes, let's do
That
it.
was amazing.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll get
Like
to that in just a
we already
second.
had our
What the hell?
hour and a half of
Does
normal
anybody
League of
see something
Legends,
wrong
so-
with this loading screen?
No, because I'm already in game.
Which game is it?
This is not what I was talking about. Spectate off of me. The thing that's weird about this loading screen, in case anybody else wasn't paying attention, let me go ahead and change overlays first. Is
Oh, you're specking Tyler.
yeah,
I think that's his name.
he was platinum last season, and hardly anybody in here has borders, and he was last pick. I'm not even gonna say it.
Huh.
I'm not even gonna say it.
Questionable at best.
Either somebody seriously got boosted through plat games to get that border, or somebody seriously got boosted in general, or like somebody's skills seriously declined in season 3.
It's possible. All right, who's gonna start? We gotta pick an order.
Yeah, what's the
Um,
order?
Let's go.
I'll be last.
Let's
See,
go.
yours is last.
Yeah,
I can go first.
yeah, let's go Azaraki, then Braun, then myself, then Grizz.
Alright, we're doing this. So we see the fact that Twisted Fate, he did start with the Crystalline Flask, so he's going to be able to heal through a lot of Lux's damage. However, he's not going to be able to dodge all of her skill shots as well as he would be if he started Boots.
Lux, where's Lux? Oh, she's back at base. I was so confused for a minute. Well, looks like down in bot lane we'll see a bit of an engagement. It's fairly early, so Nocturne doesn't actually have all that much damage. It was pretty good, but I don't think they wanted to dive in onto Alistair.
Yeah, they didn't really burn much in terms of summoner spells there, outside of Ezreal, who's going to be down a flash and barrier for quite some time. Despite that, he still has Arcane Shift up, so he's still going to have the ability to play fairly safe in lane.
Yeah, and going back to the whole jumping down on the tower, especially against an Alistair with his headbutt and knockback, would not have been a bright idea.
In the top lane, we see the fact that Nasus, he started off with 2 Fairy Charms, so this makes me think he wants to go for an early Chalice. Now that's a good item on Nasus because he's going to get a lot of mana to pop out Withers and to get a lot of QCS. However, he could be facing some difficulty against Aatrox, a very heavily physical damage champion.
Yeah, I think there's only one spell out of Aatrox's spells that actually does magic damage, which is his dive, his E blade, or no, his E is Blades of Torment. That's the shoot. His Q is his dive. So the only thing that's going to do magic damage is that poke, which probably not a bad idea for the early game. Reduce the poke and be able to keep his health pool higher.
And meanwhile, in the jungle, it looks like Lee Sin's actually getting a bit further ahead than this Nocturne is. He not only has a little bit more farm, despite the fact that that gank may have been worth it. As you can see, Nocturne is quite low, and he's already upgraded to a Madreds on top of getting his boots. So certainly he's had a more fruitful jungle, and this is actually putting him ahead in levels as well. So he's going to have a lot better ganks, as well as being able to rush towards 6.
Yeah, definitely Nocturne in a very bad position with only CS or 20 CS compared to Lee Sin's 23, but he does have that Madrid's already built. But Nocturne picking up that Spirit Stone, you know, it's a flop. With the Madrids, you get that extra proc damage down on the minions, but you have such better items to build through the Spirit Stone.
Yeah, Lee Sin is one of the only champions I'm really noticing build into a Madred's out of Hunter's Machete rather than building a Spirit Stone. And you know, he can use the Wriggles Ward really well, but the biggest problem with that is the fact that Wriggles just doesn't scale into the late game very well. You know, you get a little bit of armor, you get a little bit of health, lifesteal, not health regen, lifesteal, and so it helps you a little bit, but honestly, I think that the Blessing of the Elder Lizard would have gone a little bit better, and he could just carry a bunch of wards on him as well.
Looks like we see some pings going over onto blue buff. Want to get that on Lux as soon as humanly possible. She hasn't gone with a tier, so there's no stacking of that. She's gone with a chalice. But being able to spam out spells will let her push Twisted Fate out of lane, and the more advantage she can get before he hits 6 and starts roaming, the better.
And yeah, that's something really important for him. Despite that, though, Lux also has a lot of roam potential here. The further she gets ahead, the more she's going to start poking her head into other lanes. She's got that chalice right now. She's got a little bit of defenses against him. That mana regen is only going to stack on top of blue. And to top it off, they're also looking at a situation where she's got that CDR. Now, granted, her CDR was nerfed a little bit in terms of her ultimate, but it's still on a very short cooldown and should make for some very potent ganks.
Absolutely, and it looks like we did see Nocturne kind of sitting in that bush there at bottom, trying to get a gank onto Alistar and that Ezreal. But, you know, with an Alistar support, it's really hard, even though you are a Nocturne, to get a really good gank down with Alistar's utility. And meanwhile, you know, going back to the Lux, she does have that mana regen compared to, you know, I don't know what would be better if on TF is his W with his blue card for that mana regen versus the mana regen on Chalice of Harmony. I actually don't know which one's better.
Alright, so we're seeing the fact that Sona has picked up Sightstone as her first item. Now this is something that works pretty well for her, mainly because, you know, she is, even though her base health and her early tankiness got buffed a little bit, she's still a very squishy champion. And not only that, but she's going to save a lot of money on getting her wards from Sightstone rather than these other companies.
Yep, and we did just see a kill being picked up by Lee Sin, which is just going to push his advantage in Nocturne, or ahead of Nocturne even further. He's already 6. Nocturne wanted to come up and gank that, but he didn't have 6 yet, and he probably won't for at least 1 or 2 more camps.
This TF didn't do a bad job coming up to top lane and securing him that kill, which is going to be his second of the match. Is really going to help him out in terms of having that gank ability. You can see Lux actually missing her skills in lane. You know, she's doing her best to push while TF is gone, so she can go ahead and move to other lanes and go for ganking. Unfortunately, it's not really working out too well for her right now, but TF is getting off those kills, which is just going to put her in a really bad position.
Yeah, unfortunately, TF's global control with his ultimate compared to Lux's. Lux's actually has to walk out of lane to get her ultimate down, even though it does have a pretty good range. But as was stated earlier, she is actually starting to hit her skill shots now compared to earlier, which is a good thing. She does have that blue buff, which does give her, and so does TF, so they're both actually quite even with their mana regen and their ability to push their lanes.
So TF decided to go for the Sorcerer's Shoes before getting, that's tier 2 boots, before getting any other item. Like, he did have the Crystalline Flask, but that really only, you know, early game, it's a consumable basically. It gives you a little bit of sustain in lane, but he has no other big items, or he just bought some, but He really used the boots to his advantage, though, and what I like to see from that was because, you know, he ganked around a lot near the early game. He secured 2 kills with that, and that's what you want to do if you start early tier 2 boots as Twisted Fate, is just roam around as much as you can, because other than that, you know, the boots don't really give you that big of a lane presence.
Well, we saw up in top lane a kill picked up by Aatrox. He did get the Nasus. They wound up trading Nocturne for Lee Sin. So Lee Sin's starting to get a lot more powerful. And we might see Twisted Fate kill Lux here in mid. But in terms of junglers, oh yeah, Twisted Fate will pick up that kill. But in terms of junglers, Lee Sin is going to start to really wreck anytime he comes in, especially to bot lane where there's a lot of damage already between Alistar and Ezreal.
Yeah, speaking of bot lane, we recently saw an engagement down there. You know, I feel like Graves had an opportunity to pick up a kill with his flash up. Granted, Ezreal was under tower, but without his, without his arcane shift up, flash buckshot certainly would have secured that kill with how low they were. Instead, Ezreal managed to ulti and sort of turn the tides of that fight, which did not go well for them at all. And then between the healing and the Doran's blade, Ezreal was really able to come back in health.
Yeah, and as we do see on Ezreal, she does wind up picking up that Spirit of the Elder Lizard, and it looks like we were probably going to see the blue-build Ezreal as this Alistar is making me laugh as well. Bastard Alistar. We do see the head bump coming down. But compared to Graves, Graves wound up picking up that BF first, and we do see the ultimate coming in from the global control from that TF, and we do see TF picking up the kill onto Ezreal, forcing that Alistar to flash. And they will continue down, and TF picking up a really nice double kill, and he's going to be very scary towards later in the game.
TF, as we said, you know, he's roaming around a lot. That's what you want to do as TF. And he's winning his lane and roaming around. You know, he's a little bit behind in CS, but he's got 2 kills up on Lux. Lux has died 2 times, and on top of that, he's been roaming around. So you're going to be inherently behind on farm if you roam around that much. But TF, this one, he was able to make action happen around the map. 5-0, got bottom lane 2 assists each. You know, he's doing really well right now and playing the champion very well.
So, an almost dragon attempt. Lux comes down to try and stop them. She is very successful. Up in top lane, we saw Aatrox fighting with Nasus, and Aatrox, he's only built his Bilgewater Cutlass. He's picking up a little bit of attack speed, and, you know, I think Aatrox is going to fall into that category of champions. You don't want to fight him. You don't want to pick the 1v1 because he just gets so much power, especially when he pops his ultimate.
Oh, sorry, it's my turn. Jesus. I got distracted by some really, really weird things said in chat. But moving on from that, Lux is built straight into Athene's. This is pretty typical for Lux. She goes ahead and gets that Grail, and everything is pretty much peachy keen for her in terms of both CDR, a little bit of magic resist, as well as that mana regen really going to help her out. So she should be just about capped now that she's gone ahead and gotten that blue buff, which is going to really reduce her ultimate timer, which we have seen come into play a little bit, especially when she was sneaking around Baron. She really didn't get the chance to full combo Nocturne because it was only a couple seconds before her ulti came up.
And it looks like we're going to go ahead and see a red team going to pick up an easy dragon, as there's only Nocturne and TF there, and I don't think they can really, but no, they couldn't still. At least it does get the smite down onto at least doing a good job and saving his smite for the end, as TF almost wound up stealing it and picking up that dragon kill. Unfortunately, Sona getting caught out there in the bottom, and Lux actually picking up a much needed kill.
TF doesn't really have too much straight up direction in his build, however, but in the bot lane, Lee Sin is going to try to go in for a kill, but once again we see TF with a lot of global presence. He's really able to turn this team fight around, pick up a kill on the Lee Sin afterwards as well. Let's go back into the fight. Now, the red team, they're staying a little bit too long. You know, they picked up a kill, but at the same time, Nocturne, what are you doing? Wow, Nocturne is actually able to finish off that kill right there, but actually Zedbot going for Lux, that was really nice. I like the way he basically said, alright, I can finish him off with the wild cards while I stun Lux with the gold cards, make sure she doesn't have any damage on me. But I think that overall the blue team could have played that a little bit better by managing the dive and basically not running out one by one. We saw Nocturne, he got killed fairly quickly, you know, Graves couldn't get out of there in time, so a little bit more coordination would have helped them a lot down there.
I think a lot of that was on Lee Sin's engagement. He went very, very deep without a lot of backup. Now the Ezreal came across and that did a good amount of damage, but Lee Sin doesn't do that much damage. A lot of what he's built up is health. Looks like he's trying to rush out a locket of the Iron Solari. He's got an extra health crystal, which I'm not sure what that's going into, and he still hasn't finished a Wriggles. So, his build is a little all over the place. He's got a lot of pieces, but no real big items yet.
If he builds into this Locket of the Iron Solari, it's not going to be the worst thing for him. It's going to give him armor, which is going to help against Graves and Nocturne especially, but more so it's for the AoE damage coming out from the team. That buckshot coming out from Graves, as well as that collateral damage. You've got the Sona ultimate coming out, which granted isn't as powerful, but is still going to do a lot of AoE, as well as Twisted Fate with those wild cards. It's not a lot, but you're deadening a lot of damage across the entire team, which is going to be really important when these all-out team fights come.
Absolutely, and meanwhile, top lane, Aatrox doing a really good job of just pushing this Nasus back, and even almost killing him twice now. Really strong champ Lucy. He dives in and moves back as that Wither comes down. He knows he's not going to continue on to him without getting himself hurt, but he won't be able to catch up, and we do see Lee Sin coming in, but it looks like Aatrox's passive is still up, so whether or not they are able to get him down, he will be able to go down regen, but no, he doesn't go down with a nice jump over that wall there to save his life.
So in the bot lane, we see the fact that Sona is actually able to turn on the rest of the red team with a well-timed Alistar ultimate will prevent the CC happening to him, but Narwhal from space I think would have just been better to just completely back off right there. Instead, he tried to turn around and pick up the Graves kill. That wasn't really the best idea, and once again, we're seeing Lee Sin go a little bit too deep, ended up getting killed from that, and Aatrox still lived. And now Nocturne actually turned in, got a little bit too greedy right there. Should have just picked up the Lee Sin and got out, and at this point, Twisted Fate is the one doing it now, but I think he might actually end up being safe if he can pull a gold card here, but nice Spirit Fire. So that was a lot of, hey, I want this kill, I'm going to try to get the kill, and then they die, and then just back and forth, overextending, staying a little bit too long.
Yeah, in the end, they wound up, over the course of those two engagements, wound up picking up 4 for 2, so definitely worth it, and Twisted Fate is 8-2, that's a Rabadon's Death Cap plus a Finish Sheen, and an extra Blasting Wand will pretty much be his Lich Bane within a couple of minutes, but at 18 minutes. I'll have a Lich Bane probably about 20 minutes in. He's done so good with his roaming, and I think a bit of that is, to that fact that he just started with those boots. He got so much mobility.
We did see Aatrox go ahead and pick up that kill in mid lane on that Nasus after that team fight. I think one of the things he needs to do is actually manage his passive just a little bit better. He went under that turret and ended up burning his flash, but his passive was so far stacked that he really had the ability to get out of there once he had come up. So I'm not sure if flashing out from that turret was necessarily the best idea for him.
No, and as we have a look back over at the realize this, we are seeing an AP Nasus versus the tanky AD Nasus, and this is quite interesting because the only real damage you're going to see coming out from Nasus is his W, which, I'm sorry, not his WZ, is Spirit Fire, which is quite interesting to see because, in all honesty, that's kind of a useless Nasus in my opinion.
Yeah, he's really banking everything on, as you say, Spirit Fire. His ult's also going to do a little bit of magic damage, but he's also relying on farming up his Q and making sure Q is all of his damage. But at the same time, he could use armor penetration. He could use a lot more physical damage, and even a Sheen or something of the sort would really help him out, putting out more damage. And I think overall it would end up being more damage than this sort of AP build. And even if he went for a little bit of hybrid to make sure that he got some of those damage items, even just a Sheen, maybe Lich Bane would really help him out in this case, and that would even be better than what he's going for, but I don't think Liandry's first was really the best choice for him.
Well, we're still seeing the tail end of this engagement. Twisted Fate is likely to be able to pick up this kill and give them an ace as Aatrox took a kill up in top lane, and we saw down in the bot lane during this fight, Lee Sin comes in, he gets on top of Sona's squishy, but he can't kill her because of his build, because his build has a lot of health, and Sona actually out-tanked him, which, people don't think about it, but the current support build, Locket of the Iron Solari, well, that's health and armor. Aegis of the Legion, health, armor, magic resist, and Spirit Stone, or Sight Stone, health. It's just a ton of health. So Sona was able to tank him up and keep baiting him around in circles while he thought, yeah, I'm going to get her with the next move, and Graves picked up the kill.
You know, we did see a Narwhal going down. Was that Narwhal? Yeah, that's Narwhal from space who's going to go down there. An excellent play on the part of this TF and Sona both coming out with that damage. And this is something that they really need. You know, they're putting a lot of pressure on these towers. They're keeping Ezreal from farming. They're keeping him from snowballing in any way, shape, or form while providing TF with a lot of kills, which is going to help him scale better into the late game. In my opinion, he doesn't have the best scaling into the late game, so hopefully these kills will help him get there. Also, lol, Sona Dragon.
Yeah, meanwhile, Sona picking up that dragon. Blue team does get that objective as well. They are currently in the lead with objectives as they have pushed top tower all the way to the base tower. And they do have the first tower down for the middle and bottom as well, where red team, they only have really one objective, and that's the middle tower, and that's just one. So objective-wise, blue team is currently in the lead, along with kill-wise as well.
And Nocturne, as we see, is going for the popular Nocturne build at the moment. Spirity the Elder Lizard, as well as following that up with a Sunfire Cape, and that's going to give him a lot of damage all across the board. Spirity the Elder Lizard obviously giving him attack damage, and it's also going to be proccing his passive on everyone he hits in the AoE with his Umbra Blades, so that's going to be doing very well, giving 26 bonus true damage over 3 seconds to whoever he hits around that. And on top of that, you know, he's really going to be one of the tankier members of the blue team, so he's going to be diving into the back line and staying in the middle of the entire enemy team for as long as possible. So the Sunfire Cape is going to help him proc off a lot of damage on every member of the red team.
Yeah, we saw how much damage he could do with his Elder Lizard, and he got off a couple of nice crits because he's got that Avarice Blade, but helped Graves pick up the kill. Not sure the flash was worth it. I think they had Alistair dead to rights anyway, but we saw Lux take out the Twisted Fate, which, you know, he's got a lot of damage. 22-minute Lichbane death cap, plus the fact that he's working on a Abyssal Scepter as well. And Aatrox is going to get caught here. Is his blood well up? It is, so he should be able to hop up and over the wall really quickly. No, he wants to keep duking it out, and they'll get the shutdown gold, which will probably help Ezreal catch up a bit in his build in comparison to the Graves.
Yeah, unfortunately, while his passive was up, it had quite a long cooldown in terms of that jump, so he really didn't have the ability to get out of there. His flash wasn't available to him either, which is a big problem. It is now, but it wasn't at the time when he needed it. He was trying to wait it out, but unfortunately just caught out of position there and no way to get out.
And now it looks like Sona getting caught out. She kind of stayed her welcome there a little too long. Nasus picking up the kill with that E. Really good job for him, and unfortunately Sona not too well, as it looks like red team will be able to go ahead and push up middle and get that turret.
So Sona's gone straight for the Mikael's Crucible, which, you know, it builds out of Philostone, so she had already some component items of that, but I really think that in this specific situation, it's not really the best choice for her. No, Nocturne is their jungler, so they don't really have a main tank as their jungler, and their top lane is Aatrox, and he's a damage dealer, so there's no Aegis, there's no Bulwark out for their team, and I think Sona should have gone for Bulwark instead of going for the Mikael's Crucible, and, you know, just save the Philostone a little bit longer, giving her entire team the tankiness rather than, you know, giving a cleanse to one person.
And we do see a very heavy engagement. The red team finally able to turn something around and take some objectives, and everybody flashing in and out of the fight. I think that Aatrox might have gone a little bit too ham without his passive, but a lot of the tankiness that was built up by the red team is finally starting to help them out. The fact that Lee Sin has been so tanky kept him alive in that fight, let him go in and out, and this is the first time we've ever seen all 5 members together in one team fight. So good on them to, you know, finally start working together.
Yeah, grouping is a huge thing and is playing a major role in this game right here. We saw a really disjointed attempt by the blue team to go ahead and fend things off. You can see how badly it worked out for them. It's taken them so long to whittle down the health to give Twisted Fate any chance of getting in here, and now that Aatrox is back, while they should be able to clean it up, it would have been a lot easier, and they wouldn't have given away as many kills if they had simply just waited to get in there and try and just defend that turret instead of Nocturne getting caught out, Sona getting caught out, which gave them the ability to essentially push up, so on and so on.
Absolutely. We are seeing some pretty strong throws from the blue team, even though a couple members did wind up dying from the red team. It's just all in all, they pushed up, they got that tower turret down, they wasn't able to push in and get that inhibitor, but they still can come in, they have that easy push down mid to finally pick up that inhibitor and push and probably win the game. As we do see that to build and get tankier. He did get that Leandris for that extra early damage. And actually, Nasus continue to build tanky. He could be very detrimental towards late game.
Yeah, looking towards the mid lane, everyone is grouping up for a fight, and I think that Nocturne would have been a little bit better to finish up Sunfire Cape rather than go for the Zeal. You know, his team doesn't really need more damage right now. They have an AP carry that's 14 and 4, Deathcap Voidstaff along with Lichbane, and we also have a Graves who's got 170 farm. It's got quite a bit, as well as Aatrox who's got a Blade of the Ruined King, as well as Randuin's. You know, they're not really hurting in terms of their damage dealers. What they need is more of a straight up tank, and right now Nocturne, he's building more towards a damage dealer. You know, I still agree with the Spirit of the Elder Lizard. It's a great item on him, but at the same time, instead of Zeal, I want to see him build Sunfire Cape. I want to see him build tanky.
I'm thinking pretty much the same thing, that Nocturne, who is their heavy engager, he's what's starting the fight for them. It's not Aatrox diving in. It's not Twisted Fate starting things out with his ultimate. It's really Nocturne, and the fact that he can't tank up the damage is going to become a problem as Ezreal's finished his Iceborne Gauntlet. We are going to see Nocturne go in, and Twisted Fate's going to do a good job of locking them off. But you know, if the enemy team hadn't been split, that might not have gone so well, and it doesn't seem to be going all that well.
Yeah, splitting is one of the worst things that they could have done here. You know, Lee Sin had the right idea trying to get into that back line to isolate somebody. Unfortunately, it's left him pretty much out of the fight up until this point, and you can see the blue team is just cleaning up from it. This is one of the worst things that you can do at this point, but is a great idea if you want to go ahead and get some individuals out of the fight. And I'm really surprised that Minions didn't take out that Aatrox there.
Aatrox too strong as he does dive in, but the Ignite does go down onto him. But he does wind up picking up a kill onto Lux and leaving that kill open up for Graves on that Nasus. And with his passive being up, he lives from that engagement. So that was 2 free kills and a tower, and probably another tower and an inhib. Really strong gameplay from the blue team as they noticed, hey, red team, they're split. Let's try and pick a couple kills up. And instead of Lee Sin continue on our way, because he got away by himself very, very easily. He was in no danger. The other team, the rest of his team ran back in and pretty much just gave up that tower right there.
And one thing that I noticed about this engagement that I actually noticed quite a bit about people who play Alistar in particular is the fact that, you know, he popped his ultimate to get out of CC, which, you know, isn't that bad, but then he used it to retreat. Basically, as Alistar, you want to be using the ultimate to tank as much as you can, and so you might be able to get out with your life if you pop your ultimate, but at the same time, if you stick in with it, if you tank, if you make sure that you soak up all that damage, then you can make sure that the rest of your team puts out all the damage they need. Narwhal from space could have been much safer if there was a big cow right in the middle of everyone's faces, knocking them up and knocking them back. And we also see Curse Asil on Lux. You know, he would have survived a little bit longer as well, put out more damage had there been that straight up tank just in the middle of the fight.
Nah, I wouldn't have said that would have been a good idea to pick up the Baron for the red team at that point, but they do have Nasus, who just absolutely destroys Baron and Dragon with his health percentage, AoE damage. So they were able to pick that up. It'll put them slightly back further into the game, but you know, I would even say that the blue team is strong enough to fight them with a Baron, as they're almost still 10,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, speaking of 10,000 gold ahead, something to note is that we look at Nasus's Q, and he's got quite a bit of farm on it at this point. It does a lot of damage, 146 plus 105 on top of its base damage. He's going to be hitting people for at least around 300 damage a pop when that Q is up, not to mention his auto attacks. He's got a strange build going on, but overall, the longer this game goes on, the better the chance the red team has of really coming out on top with this one between the Lux and the Nasus.
Absolutely, but unfortunately, they have to survive in order for it to get to the late game, and the blue team's ability to push right now lane is quite ridiculously strong, especially if red team decides to go, hey, we're going to go ahead and jump in, even though they do have Baron. There's that Sonus Crescendo, not just that, with his AoE from his Q and Graves' Buckshot, along with Aatrox's ultimate, it just could take one really strong ultimate from Sona to just pretty much finish the game, and one retarded team engagement from red team to end their game.
So I'm mentioning going back to the Nasus. He is building AP, so he's putting a lot of his damage into both Spirit Fire as well as his ultimate, which is percentage of health damage. But one thing I really think is that he's sort of neglecting his Q a little bit. And as you said, he is farming it up a little bit, but it's sitting at 111 right now, which you know, three damage each time you kill an enemy unit with it. He's only got 35, 30 something with his Q, only that much CS. So he could be doing that a little bit more because he's got 172. So sitting at 32 on his Q is really interesting. And right now, oh my god, we're seeing a base race. Now sending one person back, sending Lux back was a very good idea on the red team, and that's actually going to allow them to win the base race. Basically just having one person there to stop the entire push. And now the red team, they're going to be able to close it out. Look at that, the Nexus is going down. Asil was single-handedly able to basically stop them from taking the Nexus of their own. Great play by the red team, sending him back.
Yep, the words we're looking for there are G and G, and I believe that is our last game of the day.
That
our
is
letters.
correct.
See,
Yeah, those
wasn't that
aren't
awesome?
exactly words, those are letters. And yes, that was quite fun.
And
That
that
was
was cool.
very
Yeah,
amusing.
that was fun.
No, G and G are two specific words. They're no longer letters.
Yeah, whatever.
They are full
Whatever, Braun.
statements.
Whatever, Braun.
Okay, I see. So Braun in this specific case is actually spelling them G-E-E each. So it's like
Yes.
G-E-E, G-E-E.
Or J and J if we're French shoutcasters. French StarCraft shoutcasters, to be specific. They're the funniest things ever. They just ramble.
It can't be as bad as Korean shoutcasters, which we're not
No,
gonna do,
no.
Azaraki. We're not
No.
gonna do.
It can't be as-
And that
say
was
that
when
again.
we closed up the stream. Love you guys lots. Tune in tomorrow night.
You could be a
for- what's
soft
tomorrow night?
announcer as well.
Casual games.
Yeah,
Casual
casual games. Join us tomorrow for all of that. We will see you guys later. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.